Good evening, fight fans. This is the Radulich Broadcasting Network alternative commentary for UFC 273. Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie. Yes, sir, Bob.
I mean,
And
that might be the best name intro you've ever done.
I do try. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And joining me is Dan Guillotine to please Lasby. How do you do, Mr. Rock and Roller?
Oh, rock and rolling here in Canada. I have a nice warm tea. It's only 11:35 at night. We're kicking into the tasty groove.
Yes, sir. We're going to be with you all night long, all 3-ish hours of UFC 273. We have two title fights, Mr. Lasby. Yes, sir, Bob. We've got Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie Chan Sung Jung for the featherweight title. And then in your co-main event, we have yet another title unification bout between Aljamain Sterling, the identified current champion of the Bantamweight division, versus Petr Yan, the interim champion. What do you think about that one?
I'm all Yan. I'm all Yan all night long.
I've heard that about you, that you go that you're all Yan all night long.
I try to keep it on the down low, but it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to hide.
All right. These next three I'm going to mispronounce, and I'm going to drive Robert Winfrey to cry.
Sorry, Robert.
In the welterweight division, we have Gilbert Burns versus Kazmat Chimaev. We have in the women's strawweight division, Mackenzie Dern versus Tisha Torres. Well, Tisha Torres. Bitty down. Well, bitty. Well, put her in my pocket.
No Yan in there.
Yes, sir. And then in the lightweight division, kicking things off on the main card, it's Vince Patel versus Mark Madsen. Let's going all the way back to the top of the card here, the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie. Dan, how do you see this one playing out?
I mean, I like a knee, and I like a jumping knee. But I just don't think that Volkanovski's going down. He's hungry. He's like the New Zealand buzzsaw. He's burning through people. He got no quit. I mean, the Zombie's been around a long time. He's had a lot of matches. He's got a lot of experience, and I love to watch him.
I do.
I just don't think he got it.
That is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this tonight was, there's fights on DAZN, which your wife won't let you have. There's fights on Showtime, which you don't have. But you know what? Even if we could have picked any fight that we to do live commentary for, I would have picked this one. I do enjoy a good Korean Zombie fight.
It's gonna be a barn burner
for sure. What do you think? Now, this is not the first time the Korean Zombie has competed for a title. Sorry, somebody has just now gotten into the UFC 273 Wikipedia page.
And rewritten the whole thing.
Yeah. So far, they've rewritten it a couple of times here. Right now, the featherweight main event is between Falo Kushiside on Dick versus War Machine, which is interesting because when I clicked on War Machine, it literally does take you to the Marvel comic book hero.
Couldn't be better. Page. Could not be better.
Round, it says, "You guys are retards." I agree. This got me crying, bro.
Okay.
In the bantamweight division is Joe Biden versus Vladimir Putin, which is good.
Okay. I mean, short match, but all right.
Sure. Skipping down, we have Ian McTapper 2.0 wannabe Gary versus Darian Gawk 3000 weeks. Sure.
I don't think the future would appreciate that.
All right, so we're somebody has gotten in here and fixed it. So anyway,
that was fast.
Yeah, I figured we were going to put up with that for a while. It looks like the Korean Zombie took on Jose Aldo at UFC 163 in 2013. Oh, long ass
8
time
years
ago,
ago, bro. Since he's had a title shot,
right? So he is currently 35 years young, and he has a record of 17 wins and 6 losses. Most recently, he lost to Brian Ortega in the main event spot of UFC Fight Night on October 18th, 2020 in Abu Dhabi. So my question to you is, what, if any, chance does the Korean Zombie realistically have against Volkanovski?
I mean, I don't think it's impossible. He's got good submissions. He's got good striking.
Mm-hmm.
He's just old, and the challenge is Volkanovski doesn't seem like he's literally ever willing to tap out unless he's completely unconscious. So I don't know. I think that it's a grind. I think that it goes the distance, and I think that it's ugly the entire way, but ugly in the most beautiful possible way.
My prediction is that this is going to either be a split decision win for Volkanovski, or it's going to end up being a split draw.
Yeah, okay.
I can seriously see this. I definitely see this going all 25 minutes, but I don't think either one of them is going to be able to give an inch, and I think it's going to be back and forth. And I think no matter what Volkanovski throws at the Korean Zombie, he's going to walk through it. But I don't think the Korean Zombie has the power to take down Volkanovski in any real way. And I think Volkanovski has enough ground game to be able to push off Volkanovski's submission attempts. The Korean Zombie's submission attempts.
I agree. And I think, like, listen, you know, when you watch the pre-interviews and a guy's like, and I'm going to win, I'm going home the champion, you're like, I don't know that you even really believe that. Chan Sung
Sure.
100% believes that. He's like, I've been in the States. I haven't seen my family. I'm taking the belt home to them, and I might wave it around in the DMZ while I'm at it.
Nice. That alone is the reason I want the Korean Zombie to win. I just want him to be buck naked with the title in the air, standing at the DMZ. Yes. Party in Korea and listening to BTS. Can we get some BTS?
Deal. Oh, all in.
I am all in for naked Korean Zombie dancing with the title on the DMZ to BTS. Make it so. All right. Moving on. Skipping back to the middle of the card here. We've changed it again. Here we go. We've got Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Jew Killer Yan in round Grow Up No. And then in the welterweight division, we have Stifler versus Joseph Stalin.
Stifler's got no chance. I mean, his mom maybe, but not Stifler.
Stifler's mom's got it going on. I don't know if you know that or not.
She's got that.
Yeah. Anyway, Gilbert, I'm gonna have to pull up another page here. Gilbert Burns in your hey, before we move on here, we Jay Royce, who always likes to check out my live streams. We're super appreciative of him. He says the one thing Zombie has is power, but the overall skill belongs to Volk. You want to respond to that?
I think that's probably true.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have the Gilbert Burns fight. What do you think about that one?
I think that Chimaev just eats him, right?
Yeah. Fairly certain this is going to be a one and done for Chimaev, who I'm probably mispronouncing.
It's not even fit. And the odds are insane. The odds are plus 400 for Burns, minus 550 for Chimaev.
Lil Tisha Torres is on a 3-fight winning streak. She beat Brianna Van Buren by decision on UFC ESPN Blades versus Volkov on June 20th, 2020. Then she beat Sam Hughes in TKO in the first round, December 12th, 2020. And then this past August, she decisioned Angela Hill. But that was after she lost 4 straight to Jessica Andrade, Joanna Polish, Zhang Zwiley, and Marina Rodriguez. So what, if any, chance does Tisha Torres have against Mackenzie Dern, who currently who's lost her last fight herself? She lost a decision on October 9th, 2021 to Marina Rodriguez.
I mean, I think, like, we talk about getting your bell rung. I think this is one that Dern can come back from, right? Like, I think that she can shake it off, come back and be like, all right, Torres, you're cute, but here we go.
Yeah, I don't think I think this is a get well fight for Mackenzie Dern. And I think Tisha Torres is just the right kind of opponent to where she can provide her some degree of difficulty, but I think ultimately Tisha Torres is on the downside of her career, not the upside. And this is Mackenzie Dern's fight to lose, you know?
I agree.
And then kicking things off here, we've got Vince Pichel versus Mark Madsen. How do you see this one playing out?
I mean, I think Madsen can win this. I'm a little disappointed that since he uses the O that he doesn't go by Mom as his ring name, because if you get beat up by your mom, like, what is better than that? But like of the main event, I think this is the closest match.
Okay. Of the main card, you mean?
Yep.
All right. Well, here's what I really want to know. What I really, really, really want to know. How was your WrestleMania weekend?
It was good. I mean, there's some things that I hated. There's some things that I loved. And it all kind of washed the way that I pretty much thought it was going to. So that was okay.
Do you have a nice vacation with the wife?
I did. So much so she's like, okay, so when are we going away again? And when is your father babysitting? So
look
it's
at
like,
you,
okay,
heartbreaker.
So that's a victory. I'll take that.
Very nice. I am impressed, young Dan Lasby.
I got some skills sometimes.
Yes, indeed. Let's talk about the prelim card. Ian Gary, and then they ran a little late here. Did you notice that?
They ran long, yeah.
Yeah, the prelims ran over 10 o'clock. Ian Gary defeated Darian Weeks by unanimous decision. What'd you think of that fight?
That was a good fight, but I felt like that was a defense battle, right? Whose defense was better, and Gary's defense was better on the takedown. And Weeks couldn't really answer Gary's strikes consistently. He had some good blocks, but he just couldn't shut him down completely.
Agreed. We had Anthony Hernandez defeating Josh Fremd by unanimous decision. This was an okay fight. It was entertaining enough, but it didn't really jump out at me. It was kind of nondescript.
I felt bad for Fremd. That second round, where like the late round, he really kind of had a second wind and came out strong. I was like, okay. But then Hernandez ate him in the third round. Just ate him.
Yeah, ate him up. And then we had Raquel Pennington defeating Aspen Ladd. God, I can't believe Aspen Ladd's still around by unanimous decision.
And that's generous. Like Pennington, the aged warrior, like smoked her on experience alone. Like Aspen Ladd didn't know what was going on in that match.
Mike Mallet defeated Mickey Gall in a first round KO. Woo! Brutal, bro.
That was amazing. Brutal. I was like, oh, my Canadian boy is done for. And then a hard knockdown.
My wife was watching on the couch before she went in for the night, and she's like, I thought Canadians were supposed to be peaceful people. And I'm like, George St. Pierre?
Hey, he apologized afterwards. It's fine.
Sure. He was like, sorry about your sorry about your head.
Sorry about your face. Would you like a tissue? Would you like a tissue?
You offered him the shirt off of his back that he wasn't wearing.
Probably true. He probably gave him his shirt to go home in because he felt bad about it.
Right, because Canadian hospitality.
Yeah,
but again, George St. Pierre, who just stretched dudes and sat on them and pulled them in every direction, and he was very Canadian. Though she said
progression.
She said that it didn't count. She's like, "Oh, he's French Canadian." I'm like, "All right, go to bed."
Fair enough.
Go talk to your friends. Go Snapchat with your friends.
George can't speak to half the country, so it's fine.
All right, and then moving down on the card here, we have the early prelims. I had to explain this to my son tonight. He was like, "When does this start?" I'm like, 6-ish, and there's early prelims, and then there's regular prelims, and then the main card. And he was like, why don't they just make it all one card?" And I'm like, we gotta portion things out.
You need to know when you gotta come if you actually just want to watch the main card, or whether you want to be there for 12 hours.
Yep. Like I said, there are some people who on a Saturday like this, they'll have like multiple monitors going. They'll be the ones on YouTube, and they've got this going. They've got Showtime and DAZN all going, and they'll just kind of check in.
Yeah.
Each one. By the way, Jay Royce with the hot take: Mickey Gall peaked at CM Punk. Ouch.
Harsh.
Yes, indeed. All right, we are just about to get underway here with our first fight of the main card: Vince Pichel versus Mark Madsen.
I mean, that's a heck of a mustache, right?
That is a heck of a mustache. With great mustache comes great power, Dan Lasby.
I mean, that can be true. If he starts out with like a classic Irish bare knuckle boxing stance, I might change my vote.
Yeah, I think it's all over after that, don't you think? If he comes in, if he comes in like put him up, put him up.
Mom should quit if that's the case. If he's like just full roll back knuckle punch,
right? And then an out walks a bear for him to fight.
Yeah, I'm all in, but like the match is over.
Yeah, we're done here. Hey, we are starting to gather a crowd here for our UFC 273 alternative commentary. We have friends hanging out with us on Twitch, like our good friend Jay Royce. We've got some people on my History of Boxing podcast Facebook page. If you are currently watching us, 2 things. 1, no, we are not showing the fight. One community strike was enough for me this week. Did you hear about that?
Hiya! No, you got a strike?
Oh boy, did I. So I had WrestleMania on in the background, right? Because the kids were watching, my wife was watching.
Sure.
And so I had it on the big TV, and I would just kind of turn my chair and call the action with the podsman, your buddy Bailey and
Sure.
Rich Sheehan. Yeah. And you can't really see the TV. You can only see like half of it. It's in the background. It's really obscured. My kids like walking in front of it. But the WWE, that was enough.
Listen, Vince had to pay for that stunner of all stunners.
Yes. The Jay Royce is actually still laughing at the Vince stunner. Because
so is Mick Foley.
Every time he takes a stunner, it's like his entire spine just crumbled.
Yeah, he's the only man who could be that buff at 70 and at the same time appear like he has no bones.
Yeah, he absolutely like took the stunner as if he like his entire body was made of tiny pieces of chalk.
Yeah, he just disintegrated.
Yeah. So anyway, so yes, we got a takedown violation. The WWE was like, you can't rebroadcast our show. So you now have a copyright strike, which means we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitch, and we are live on Twitter. Guess where we're not live?
Burn.
Not live on YouTube, correct. So to the people who are like, show the fight. No. You
Come on.
Put your pirate hat on, take the high seas, and you'll find it somewhere, but you won't find it here.
See, now we're talking merch. You got to sell an eye patch.
Our Radulich and Broadcasting eye patch.
Come on, sell them for like $1, and every time that somebody like wants you to show the fight, you just send them over to the merch store and say, "Get the eye patch."
I'll tell you what. If for every subscriber on our YouTube page or through Spotify or Apple Music, for everyone that subscribes that hasn't already to the Radulich and Broadcasting Network through W2M, I will send you an authentic Radulich and Broadcasting eye patch.
Yes. Make it happen. Hashtag where's my eye patch?
Where's my eye patch? Yeah. Anyway, where I was going with this was, if you like Jay Royce and you're hanging out with us, you have a fun comment, if you want to know what's going on in the fight, feel free to. Our chats are open. Chat us up. Okay. It's Seeking Saturday, Dan Lansby, and our DMs are open.
Oh, hi, yeah. This got awkwardly dirty all of a sudden.
That's me, all right.
Glad I put the kids to bed.
Yeah, this is a family show, sir.
A family show. We make a family. I mean,
so Jay Royce is in agreement with us. That is one hell of a stash. So yes, I will in fact read some of the comments. I won't, but there's a really fun one. We had a friend during one of the boxing ones that we did where she just kept putting up really funny facts. Something about like a pig's orgasm lasting 30 minutes. And I'm like, well, if you can beat that comment, you get to be up on the screen.
The genitalia of a duck is a corkscrew. Come on, these are freebies.
You're already on the podcast, sir. All right, here we go. Finally,
good.
We get to call some action here. We've got Madsen in red and Pitchell in black. Back in black, baby. And he opens up with a leg kick and kicks nothing but air. Madsen strikes back.
Beauty.
Madsen, quick on his feet, circling around, not giving Pitchell an easy target.
You got this, Mom. Come on now.
We have an exchange of front kicks and leg kicks here. So far, just kind of feeling each other out.
Back and forth.
Yeah, not a lot going on between them. All right. It's just more leg kicks.
Yep. Slow start to the battle.
A little bit. Neither one really committing to an offense here. The Pitchell likes those front kicks though.
He does.
He's used them a couple of times now. Not to any great effect, but he's definitely using them.
It's okay. Still looking good with the mustache. Still coming around.
That is a fine mustache.
Not terribly.
Pitchell's at least coming forward and he's attacking. Madsen finally returns fire, but doesn't get a whole lot of anything from it. Leg kick from Madsen.
A lot of testing out. A lot.
Yeah. both guys are moving pretty good, so this is definitely a more defensive round for both people. But so far, I would have to give the edge to Pitchell. As at the very least, he is somewhat committing to a forward attack.
Yes, more forward movement than Madsen, although not cutting the angles, not really connecting on anything. Not a lot, anyway.
No, we're talking like the barest of minimums to win the round here, but that's also because Madsen's not doing much of anything.
I think the pitcher can afford to like jump in a bit.
Yeah. See now, and he's okay. Madsen was starting to commit on something, and then he shied away. Now Pitchell's starting to land a little bit more.
Yeah, there was a lot of feints there, so I think that you can take that as your confidence to set the pace.
All right,
you're right, a lot of movement.
Madsen steps in, maybe tries to grab a hold of his head, but Pitchell slips away.
Still so tentative.
We are halfway through the first round of 3. Madsen it looks like he's looking for a way inside, and he's not liking any of his options. So then he ends up just sort of sitting there, and Pitchell is just as happy to kick him in the leg, or at least try to.
Yeah, I think Madsen's got to get in. He's got to go for the takedown. Because even Pitchell's kicks are wide.
Madsen just scored big. Pitchell returns fire and kicks him right in the torso.
Okay.
But he lost his footing there for a second. Madsen hit him with a good shot.
Pitchell doesn't seem super steady even on his own shots. He's moving well.
I think he's like overcommitting.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen Madsen follow up a little bit more. He really wrung Pitchell's. Okay, there we have a nice takedown by Madsen, who works from side control.
There we go. All right.
Mitchell's going to try to pass. It's going around the head.
There you go.
Jay Royce reminding everyone that someone should tell Pitchell there is good money in offering mustache rides, to which I say, arr.
I mean, he does have some wear marks in his hair, so.
All right. Both men back on their feet again. They're exchanging punches. I wonder if that was enough for Madsen to have taken back the round. What do you think?
I mean, I think he's got the round currently, but I think he needs to. He's got some time to get something else here. Try for a secondary takedown, push him up against the fence, do something.
Pitchell didn't seem to have much in the way of defense against the takedown. Like Madsen took him down pretty easily, and that's why, like, he's another shot in the nose, and Pitchell just shrugs it off. I would like to see Madsen maybe feign with a punch. Like he seems overly concerned with trying to get a knockout. He's like, maybe don't knock out this guy who's made of shoe leather. Maybe keep taking him down.
And you're still going to get the round on points with a second takedown. You're going to be comfortably in the lead.
Yeah. All right. That was maybe a little after the bell, but Pitchell apologized. And, well, Dan, I would tell you that I thought, for the most part, for at least half of the round, Pitchell was winning. But then Madsen came back strong. He got the takedown. I think he scored the most effective shots of the fight. They just weren't particularly effective, nor were there a lot of them. But at least it was more than Pitchell.
I don't anticipate that we've got a high accuracy rate for connects either. Like there was a lot of swinging at the wind.
But I'm going to commit to my answer. First round goes to Madsen.
I agree.
So we are in the corner of both men right now. I'm wondering what they're telling Pitchell. Like, hey, you got your bell rung once or twice in there.
I think they got to be telling him to like stop for the haymakers. Like, lead with your jab and use that to set something up.
Yeah, they're both very like coming into this very committed to the idea, oh, I'll just knock this guy out. It's like, or you could just work for it. Yeah, this is mixed martial arts.
Well, I mean, the little bit that I know about Madsen, he's not a straight striker. Like he's definitely more of a wrestler. So I don't know why he's swinging for the moon either.
That's what I'm saying. Like throw your punches, but use them to get inside and take him down. Even if you can't get through a submission, you're going to win just by taking the guy down. I mean, I know when I was scoring MMA on the amateur level, there was always a question of like, well, how much should a takedown? I mean, like, I count a takedown as an attack. You still
takedown is an attack, and if you control it from there, you give yourself the opportunities.
Not to mention, you can wear out your opponent pretty quickly. So when they are standing again, they're more likely to get knocked down than when they're somewhat.
And if you're watching Petr Yan, he's just swinging at everything.
Yeah,
wear him out. Make him use all of his energy to do defense on the ground.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like tactician wise, I don't know if Madsen's really showing us a lot here.
Except for how he was facing the cage for his corner break.
Pitchell just fighting for his life now.
I mean, I wonder if they didn't tell him that, like, it looks like right now a knockout is your only chance. So get in there and go big.
Yeah, maybe. But that's the thing, with a lot of these MMA fighters, they're all convinced they're going to be Clubber Lang and just hit you once and you're going to go dead. And it's like, you got to work on every facet of your game, and you can't just depend on knockout power, as crowd pleasing as it is. You got to be able to, the guys at the top of the UFC are people that generally can think on their feet and adapt if necessary. Like, Madsen came from his part-time job.
Madsen is a soccer dad who shaved his head. He's actually just PJ Stock, and then he got in the ring.
All right, they lock up. Madsen's trying to get underhooks, but Pitchell kind of wails on his back and possibly the back of his head, and then he steps away.
Like Matt and Pitchell's not connecting on anything.
Yeah, I would say Madsen so far at the halfway mark of round 2. I would say Madsen's got it pretty well in hand.
Yep, he needs that takedown though.
Like, they don't show the corner too much unless the round is over, but you could see people in the Madsen corner being really uncomfortable and kind of like, well, I might as well take my hands out of my pockets because we're not going to be here too much longer. But Madsen takes down Pitchell. He's got the back. He's working towards a submission of some kind.
Come on. Lock it in.
He's in the ride position, Dan. You ever do some amateur wrestling? You ever be in the ride position?
Like, I was long and lanky, so I was more of a striker. I tried not to get in the ride position. I think the fairer sex also tried not to get in the ride position with me, so it was okay.
You should always get the fairer sex in the ride position with you. What are you doing?
I'm saying they tried not to.
All right, Pitchell's trying to go grab a limb. Looks like he was going for like an ankle lock of some kind, or
so awkward.
Yeah. Oh, back elbow by Madsen. Just call him squaw in the face.
I mean, kudos to Pitchell. He's got a good jaw, it seems.
Yeah, he's working through the holds. He's working through Pitchell's locks. Pitchell trying to get back control. Madsen's like, I have had enough of this.
Proper thing.
And now Pitchell, with a minute to go, is trying for a takedown from the canvas. He's looking for a trip. Madsen blocks and steps away. Pretty good sequence there.
Yeah, no, that's good. Good defense on Madsen's behalf as well, to know when he did and didn't have it.
Right. And that's important to not overcommit, especially when you're on the ground, because you're going to end up making a mistake, and an easily avoidable mistake.
I mean, what's interesting is that for the size that they're pretty comparable, Madsen seems quantifiably stronger, especially on the mat.
Yeah, I would say so. All right. Pitchell has Madsen against the fence, and he's looking for maybe a slam here or to work into a full mount.
Well, he needs something big because he's had very little control in this round.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the situations where if you're not careful, you're going to end up scoring it for the guy who did a lot of touching and was grappling, but didn't necessarily have an advantage or move towards a legitimate attack.
Agreed.
And I think that was the magic of the last round. I'm sure his corner, which we can't hear because we have the TV down, but I think his corner was telling him, like, grappling and not advancing your position is not going to win you the round. This isn't 1995.
Well, I mean, like total strikes, Pitchell's only got 39 landed out of 107 thrown, and he only has 1 takedown with 32 seconds of control. You're not winning like that.
No, sir.
Even if you had a couple of like, and that takedown there, I just watched the replay. It's like you were putting a baby to bed.
No, I don't want to go to sleep. Shut up. You have work tomorrow.
Get in there.
All right. We are into the final round here of our 3-round contest between Vince Pitchell and Mark Madsen. Yes, Mark Madsen. Yeah, I got it right.
Marco Madsen.
As opposed to Marco Stunt, who was beaten with a dildo. That was the main event of an Effie's Big Gay Brunch some time ago. Anyway, yeah, it was unfortunate. Back to the UFC. I'll be curious to see for the people who are currently turning in what they thought of the first 2 rounds and who they think is winning. Because I have for next weekend, I have I put in that sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm like trying to call the action and I lost my train of thought there.
All good.
Yep. Madsen 2-0.
Yeah, gotta be.
Madsen working against the fence now.
Yeah, Pitchell's falling apart.
He just took a deep breath there, Pitchell did.
I mean, he doesn't look out of gas, but he doesn't look like he's
getting tired in there. Like, look at the way he's throwing his punches right now. Yeah. And, and Madsen's finally doing what we said he should have been doing all along. He's just shooting at will because Pitchell has no real defense for the takedown. Like, he's avoiding being submitted well enough, but Madsen just takes him down pretty much at will.
Yeah, and at the missive, he's just not got anything left. Madsen needs to get around behind him.
Pitchell's trying to throw up like a triangle, but nope. Madsen breaks out of it, and he's looking to get his back again. Maybe we'll see a rear naked choke to end this thing.
Listen, I'll take it. Give me a guillotine for the win.
Yep. Pitchell tried to do look like a key lock. Nothing doing, though.
He just can't hold it. He doesn't have the gas left, and he doesn't have the brute strength.
Madsen, for his part, is working from full guard, and it's not really advancing his position, though Pitchell's giving him a fight on the ground right now. Looks like Pitchell's trying to submit him from the bottom, but it's not happening.
Madsen almost looks like he knows that he's got the point, so he's just kind of riding it out.
Maybe he's coasting to victory.
That's the worst.
Now, Madsen's...
He's doing okay.
He just transitioned to half guard there. We'll see what he does with it. They were just content to pound each other in the side.
Yeah. Little back and forth shot. Each one hoping to get a few more points.
All right, he's still in side control. Not side control. He's still in half guard.
Madsen's got to be racking up control points at this point.
Yeah, for sure. But Pitchell, for his part, is laying in elbow strikes. He's working. He's actually done more work from the bottom than I think Madsen does from the top. But I will tell you that a lot of judges won't necessarily score for you if you're just kind of holding your opponent down. And this is where you get into the debate over whether or not they should be stood up.
Yeah, like it. You can tell me because you've watched more of late, but I don't know that any of the matches I've watched in the past little while, like, do they stand the guy up unless he's actively done something like lost his mouth guard or they're in a really compromised position from like an illegal blow?
I don't see too much standing up these days, and it might be for that reason that they used to be a little too eager to call one of those.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of fighters going like, "What the hell, man? All this time in training to lose the fight because the referee made a bad call."
Right. Especially if you're a grappler and you're like, no, this is where I want to be.
Right. And grappling on the ground takes time. Jiu-jitsu takes time. With less than 30 seconds to go, Madsen has firm control over Pitchell. He's got the back, or he had the back there. Now they're scrambling to grab a limb again.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that Pitchell has been the most successfully active while he's been on the ground. And he is actively defending and actively trying to make a break, but
all right, that was the end of the fight there. We'll get final scores in just a moment.
He don't got it. That's all Madsen. 3 rounds, Madsen.
I was looking at Twitter, I was looking at our chat, and it seemed like there are some people that are split on this, that they don't think that Madsen might have done enough, though. Jay Roy says it's a clear runaway decision for Madsen, and I tend to agree with that.
I agree. Runaway.
All right. While we're waiting for the score, I will be right back.
Beep, 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 beep. I'll tell you that ESPN Plus is saying that Madsen had 5 minutes and 10 seconds of control through the course of that match. Considerably better striking percentage, 51 out of 107 versus Pitchell's 75 out of 164. And I think that it is just a matter of adding up the mathematics. If you think something differently, if you feel like the score was not as close as that, or even if you just loved a bit of mustache and you were like, no, the mustache rider strikes again, he's the winner, let us know in the chat. Give us a comment. Keep it medium clean, or don't. That's up to you. I still think that you need to let everybody know. Hashtag where's my eye patch, because that's where it's at. If you didn't catch any of last week's WrestleMania, feel free to pop back over there and not catch day 2. That's not on YouTube, but there's other plethora of offerings from the Radulich broadcast. There's other wrestling. There's commentary. There's review of previous WrestleManias, as well as, I can't remember all the name of them, but there's a hard metal review podcast. There's some comic book action in and out. I don't get to be involved in that. There's a plethora of boxing commentary, as well as debates and conversations about who the greatest boxers of all time are. Check all that out over at the Radulich broadcast. If you're new to us here at this broadcast, feel free to give us a text, send us over a message, let Mark know how much you like it, let Mark know how much you disapprove of his inability to pronounce last names. I know Robert does. Let Mark know that he should have some merch. Come on, merch is where it's at. Maybe we can get a picture of Mark in some of those Venom trunks like the UFC has. Pitchell not liking the call. The hard walk away with the head shake. I agree with that. I think that was all Madsen all the time. A couple of brief moments where Pitchell had something. He was advancing in the first round, but not enough to make that happen. Oh, yeah. I forgot Mark Madsen was a big-time Olympian. That's why his nickname's the Olympian. I still think his nickname should be Mom.
All right. Ronnie Adams has joined us on Twitch. Hi, Ronnie. All right. So that was our first fight. We had a unanimous decision there for Mark Madsen, which is what we figured was going to happen.
Yeah.
What do you think of those scores? 2 of the judges, like us, gave all 3 rounds to Madsen. There was 129-28. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you think about the advancement piece, because Madsen also didn't do a lot in the first round, maybe you give the controlling the center to Pitchell, but I can't think really. Like even controlling the center and even advancing, his ability to connect or his ability to do any real damage was non-existent.
Hey, Ronnie, what'd you think of Ambulance? We're going to talk about that Monday on Damn You Hollywood. I saw it Friday night with a friend of mine. Really, really enjoyed it. We'll talk about the movie in full Monday night. Ambulance from Michael Bay, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and the fellow from Candyman, but name I cannot pronounce.
Sid.
However, I will say just a hint that I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it has its issues, but I really enjoyed the movie Ambulance. I thought Michael Bay did a pretty good job with it. So, Jeff Ronnie says he loved it. So listen to us talk glowingly about Ambulance this Monday night at 9 o'clock.
There you go.
So here's what we're doing over the course of. We have like a couple of weeks of fights in a row. We'll be calling here on Saturday nights. We've got Spence versus Ugas next weekend. The weekend after that, in the early evening, we've got Tyson Fury versus Dillian White for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World and the ring title. And then on the 30th of April, we've got Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson, which will be on ESPN. And then we wrap up with Canelo Alvarez versus Dimitri Bivol on the very first DAZN pay-per-view on May 7th. And then,
which I don't know that if you noticed, but the commentator tonight, one of them, whose name escapes me at the moment, is like a giant Canelo Alvarez.
That's funny, actually. And then we are going to probably take a few weeks off, and we'll be back the weekend of my birthday. I'll be 46 years young.
Hey!
Yes, sir. And we'll come back for the big unification fight on ESPN between George Kambosos versus Devin Haney, which I am super excited about. I'm glad Devin Haney like finally got a big fight.
Sure. And who doesn't like a unification match?
I love a unification match.
When it means anything. Oh, God.
This is for that weight class. I think this is for like literally every single title.
Let me ask you this, Mark. If you had those Venom trunks, what would the side of yours say?
All I can think about when I think about like UFC wear, is Dennis Hallman's banana sack, and I think it said like training mask on his penis.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling the people is, one of these days when you hit a magic subscriber number, you're going to get some of those UFC Venom trunks, and it's going to say banana sack on the side.
It's going to say Condom Depot.
There you go. Amazing. I don't know why you want everybody else's condoms, but that's up to you, buddy.
Come get your condoms here. That was one of my, I think that and like the ammo store or something like that, or like my two favorite constant, like inappropriate sponsors for sporting events.
Yeah.
Yes, we're getting a question here. I can put something up on the board finally. Yes, I watched Triple G versus Murata this morning. I was actually really paying attention at about round 5. And then that's about where Triple G really started to put a hurt on Murata. And then he finally put him out late in the fight. And you could see like when they finally stopped it, they probably could have stopped it a little bit sooner, but Murata was just there towards the end, but he really wasn't putting up much of a fight. And I think had Triple G gone a little bit harder, he might have actually gotten like the for real knockout. Murata towards the end there, like he had just took too many hits and was surviving, but definitely had nothing for Triple G by the end of that fight. What do you think of it, Jay Royce? You let us know. We'll put it up on the board. Did you happen to catch any highlights of Triple G versus Murata?
I did not. I was working earlier, and then I'm on vacation now for a week, so that's nice. But I played catch up with the prelims. I didn't catch the other part. Okay.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it early this morning. It was in Japan, so I think the whole thing started like 6 and was done by like 8 or 9. It was a good fight, though. Definitely a good fight. Andrew Graham wants to know why I incessantly have to bring up Dennis Hallman. Because I'm me. That's why.
We could get you a name tag.
Here we go.
Ask me about Dennis Hallman. It'll be great.
We can put that on a t-shirt.
Come on, man.
I can never not show this picture because I'm me.
I'm already afraid.
Oh, you've never seen this? This is a classic. Hang on, googly. Yeah, Afro Circus. There we go. Yes, sir. Hey, Jonas, come here. Come here. I want you to see something. What do you think of that man's? What do you think of that man's attire?
Put some pants on.
Fantastic.
My son says, "Put on some pants, you crazy person, you."
Proper thing. I mean, if you're gonna send in an audition photo for a Borat movie, go big or go home.
Indeed. What I really liked about that was, again, the training mask, like right there, very prominently. My son, put on some pants, you. Oh yeah, and then Andrew still says, "I'm waiting on a More Dinosaurs shirt." Have I told you about the More Dinosaurs thing?
No, but come on.
So back when I first started doing the movie review podcast, for the franchises, we were doing Jurassic Park, I think it was, and my issue with the second and the third one was just like they didn't care so much about the story; they just needed to add more dinosaurs. So yeah, we started up a thing where I would just yell out "More dinosaurs," MOAR, more. More dinosaurs, and that became a Radulich and Broadcasting gimmick.
So clearly what you need is a backer because you have enough merch ideas, t-shirt ideas specifically to like match up your vast quantity of back catalog.
Also, you got to show the guy who got him out of these mirror. Okay, you're gonna have to be a little bit more clear, Mr. Andrew. I don't speak Canadian. I don't know what you're talking about there.
Listen, does he have like a corner guy who helps him get in and out of his training mask? And if so, how does it get back and forth from the ring?
Ronnie, who's
holding up towels.
Ronnie's a big fan of my son. He enjoys our TikToks. Hey, one of our TikToks got taken down. Did I tell you about that?
Strike team.
Yeah, one of our TikToks for Superhuman got taken down because the video itself that he did got taken down. Yeah, we're gonna have to find a new TikTok gimmick, you and I. So anyway, yes, Jonas calling it straight down the middle, nothing but truth from my son. Yeah, my son will tell you how it is, how it was, and how it will be. Let's see here. Jay Roy says, I think Triple G proved even at 40, he still has some gas in the tank, and it's a damn shame he was jobbed in those Canelo fights. That's right. When in doubt, Canelo 120-0.
You got to throw somebody at him. But listen, maybe that's what the zombie will do later on tonight. 38 years old, 8 years since he had a title shot. Hiya!
Yeah, people at the end of the Triple G fight, there was talk about after Dimitri Bivol, maybe we can get Canelo versus Triple G. I think we're up to 4 now. And my only thing with that is no one's gotten any younger since these guys fought.
Yeah.
And Canelo isn't any less of a star at this point, or somebody who they're going to favor. So Canelo got all these gift decisions against Triple G. Like, I just don't see it ending differently. So I don't know if I want to. I don't know if that's a fight I really want to see.
It's not like Canelo has all of a sudden been like, oh, Canelo's old now and he can't do anything.
Yeah. Let's see here. Would have had a Manscaped sponsorship if they existed at the time. That would be perfect. See, now I want to get into shape. I want to get into shape where I can wear the bikini bottom that Dennis Hallman wore, but I definitely want to be sponsored by Manscaped.
I mean, you would definitely get sponsored by Manscaped if you did that TikTok trend where you take a photo of yourself every day through the process. So you go right now and you can only read mask. And then as you get to like the point where you're just completely jacked, and then you can see that it actually says 12 other words because it wraps all the way around to your behind. It's gonna be
I should put it's like being sheared, like a lamb.
I don't think that's how weight loss works, man. Like you don't
no.
like
talking about
shaving off parts of your body.
No, like Manscaped. I'm like advertising
Manscaped.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Just meh.
I mean, I don't know if you're as follically endowed as I am, you could just shave training mask right into your chest.
Oh, I absolutely could. Oh my God. Okay, now I see what he's showing me. The guy that shaved an arrow into his chest. Okay.
There are two options. You could
I
shave
need
an
to put that
arrow
on the
into your
board.
chest, or you could have a Brock Lesnar penis sword facing your head.
I think the Brock Lesnar penis sword is pretty cool.
It's terrible.
Oh my God. I'm going to get one too.
Okay.
Shaved arrow in chest, UFC. There used to be some real fun moments here in the UFC. Okay, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. This is hilarious. I want to thank Andrew for pointing this out.
Do I want to thank Andrew? I'm not sure I do. We'll see what happens.
He's your fellow Canadian, man.
Okay, I'll thank you for sure then. Hard in. Andrew, it's just you, me, and George St. Pierre. And maybe
There
Mark
it is.
Clark. She seems to be
There.
okay.
There you go. There it is. Perfect.
Incredible.
Nothing like shaving an arrow into your chest.
I mean, you could just put 2 thumbs up and be this guy, or you can shave an arrow towards yourself. No reference needed.
No, not at all. All right. We can stop showing silly pictures now. My obsession with Dennis Hallman will have to go to the side. All right. Yes, Jay Royce is pointing out that Dern has entered the fray here. Mackenzie Dern comes to ringside to take on little Tisha Torres, little itty bitty Tisha Torres.
Poor old Tisha. I mean, she's only ranked 2 lower than Dern, right?
Oh, I'd have to look.
I think Dern's
You're
ranked
probably right.
5th, and Tisha Torres is 7th.
You are probably right about that. Robert Winfrey on Twitter talking about the commentary. Commentary is hilariously in the bag for Gary. That was about an hour ago. He was talking about the prelims.
Poor old Gary, bye.
Poor old Gary. Okay. So this is the story that Andrew was trying to tell me. That's the guy that beat Hallman that night and got an extra bonus from Dana for getting him off the screen. Now that he mentioned it, I actually remember that now. That Dana White was none too pleased with the training mask banana sack, and he got beat pretty quickly.
Oh, Dana. Fight Island 3, banana hammocks only.
I would watch that pay-per-view.
There you go. Sell it now.
Banana hammock fighting championships.
The thing is, Dana would also probably back it. He'd be like, "What's that you say? Private island?
Well, I think
Bunch of smugglers everywhere."
That was his whole thing with the women fighting, wasn't it? It was like, oh, these people, no one's going to watch women fight. These people don't make money. And then in comes Ronda Rousey. He was like, we're all about women fighters now.
We love women fighters. Women fighters are the best.
We're going to have 8 divisions, all Ronda Rousey divisions.
Oh, my God. Ronda Rousey.
She'll be taking on Charlotte, I think, in an I Quit match next month for WrestleMania Backlash, which is one of the worst pay-per-view titles ever.
That's fine. Well, we'll hire Andrew to come out and be her promo man because he'll be better and he can just hold up pictures and he'll still be better.
Like a cartoon character, like as Ronda's talking, he's just like Screwball.
Yes, just a whiteboard that he can like hold it up.
He's like translating for Ronda because no one understands her.
Oh my God.
Right. We are just about to get underway here. Got 13-5 record and 5-1. Little itty bitty Tisha Torres.
All right, Mackenzie.
We'll see if this one ends early here. Andrew says he would have been a better boxing coach for Ronda than Edmund. I tend to agree.
I also agree.
All right, we are announcing Mackenzie Dern here, standing at 5-4 with an 11-2 record.
She got this.
I think she needs to make short work of Tisha here.
I think she just goes straight for the submission win.
Yeah. We haven't had, since Ronda Rousey left, other than like, I think Pena, there haven't been too many women that just like rush right out and submit people.
I mean, it's a good strategy if you got the gears to back it up.
Yeah.
It's a bad strategy if you get punched in the face on the way in.
Well, I think historically, statistically, you don't see a lot of finishes in these women's fights, which is kind of a shame. And I think it's why some guys have a hard time with it. But that was always what was made Ronda special. All right, here we go. Mackenzie Dern coming in fast. Tisha Torres trying to stay up on her feet, up on the balls of her feet, moving around, not providing a easy target for Mackenzie Dern.
All right, Mackenzie, you got to land some of these now.
Mackenzie Dern tried for a half-hearted takedown there, but Tisha Torres backs away. She tries again. Tisha Torres kind of like punches her into the fence. Tisha Torres does not want to get caught by Mackenzie Dern. She is game in this fight.
Yep, that's the right choice of action.
I'll tell you, Tisha Torres looks like she's more muscular now than the last time I saw her.
Yeah. She's leading her strike game good. Maybe I should have taken it. Well, maybe I'll do too soon. I don't want to jinx it.
She's doing a lot of movement here in this first round.
Staying away, staying keen. She's landing more first strikes.
Yeah.
Many.
Mackenzie Dern is not particularly active enough in this first round to start with.
No, this is not the explode him and take him down quick finish that we talked about.
And Tisha Torres is all right. Now Mackenzie Dern's trying to turn on the fire, and she's got Tisha Torres locked up against the fence. But Tisha Torres looks like she's trying to spin out of it, maybe try to get Mackenzie Dern's back against the fence.
You're crossing podcasts.
Tisha Torres now has Mackenzie Dern pressed against the fence.
Torres is winning this round right now.
Yeah, no, Torres is definitely winning the round. I'm waiting for her to execute a takedown. Like, if she can get underhooks and get some leverage on the slightly taller Mackenzie Dern, I think she might be able to punctuate this round with a big takedown for the judges.
That'd be good. You're right. She does look more muscular. She looks stronger.
All right. Mackenzie Dern able to get away. She's trying to stay in Tisha Torres' face. But Tisha Torres, for her part, she's not just taking punches. She's doing a lot of evading.
Yep, definitely. It's good. Wear her out.
Mackenzie Dern just can't make the distance.
No, and Torres looks like she got ages of gas. It'll be interesting to see if she can keep it up. She's looking fast and sleek.
Tisha Torres attacking the lead leg now of Mackenzie Dern.
Dern got to turn this around.
So Dern has these moments of explosive energy where she comes full on, but Tisha Torres doesn't take a lot of damage in those exchanges.
No, and she's not finishing it up. Like, she's not capitalizing. A couple more strikes.
Well, even when she goes ham and she starts nailing Tisha Torres, she doesn't really lay in a lot of effective strikes. A lot of them miss. That one might glance across Tisha Torres' nose.
And Torres' movement is helping that.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps to not be a stationary target, obviously.
Yeah, but she's cutting off the angles well. Like, even like as she moves side to side, Dern's trying to plant to land those and not getting the full effect.
We have a minute left of round one. Oh, look like Dern got her bell rung there for a second. Torres just likes to do that low kick there, just below the knee into the shin.
Yeah, but I mean, if you take their legs out, the Joe Rogan stomp, he loves that stomp.
Look like, yeah, Dern's having a hard time here. You saw the crowd start to really come alive there.
Torres living the underdog, doing a good job.
Yeah. She's being a real spoiler here for Dern, who we talked about at the top. Like this is supposed to be like a get well fight for her, but right now she's losing the fight.
Should have been like explosive, but.
Oh yeah, Tecia Torres is giving all Mackenzie Dern can stand. She look at that face she made as the round was ending. She is not thrilled with herself. Hey, I want to say hello to all the people on Twitch that are currently listening to our alternative commentary. I want to remind everybody we will not be showing the fight. So there goes everyone now watching. But yeah, we are not showing the fight here. We are here reacting to the fight. That's what we do. We provide analysis, commentary, pictures of Dennis Hallman's banana sack, whatever we need to get you through this fun party experience. So if you're watching on Twitch and you want to throw up a comment, I've been reading them all night long so far from our friends on Facebook and Twitch. We're not on YouTube because I was dumb last weekend.
I mean, I felt like Mackenzie Dern wasn't tentative in that round. I felt like she didn't know how to fight, but I don't feel like she was effective at all.
No. So round one clearly goes to Tecia Torres.
Yeah.
Now, Dern has to get a little bit more aggressive here. She definitely has to take Tecia Torres' legs from her.
Well, she had a couple chances late in that last round where she had her by the ankle, but she just couldn't capitalize.
I think Dern needs to not try to go toe-to-toe with Tecia Torres. Like if you're insisting on ending this with strikes, go for the takedown and try to work towards a full mount position.
Yeah, man. Spear her, get her on the ground, use your size to your advantage. I mean, Mackenzie Dern is also not gigantic, but she's considerably bigger than Torres.
All right. Dern might be turning it around here. She's spider monkeying on Tecia Torres. She's looking for a submission. Will she submit her while she's standing? That'd be pretty impressive.
Standing triangle for the win. Come on.
Dern looks like she's going for some sort of arm submission, like maybe a key lock, a Kimura. And Tecia Torres, big old muscular arms, just trying to fight it, but I don't think she has a tremendous amount of leverage where she is right now.
Height is going to be an advantage. You got to be able to pull down.
Yeah, Tecia Torres trying to fight the submission attempt.
Dern just got to lock it in. I mean, good on Torres. She's fighting hard, but.
Dern's got a hold of that arm and she won't give it up. But for Tecia Torres' benefit here, she is fighting. Looks like she may be going for like a sort of standing armbar. Now down goes Tecia Torres.
There we go.
This is not looking good.
Capitalize.
Tecia Torres is now on her head and neck, trying to balance and get out of this position. She got to roll.
Yep. Come on.
Tecia Torres is sucking wind here. This has not been a good round for her.
Every bit of energy off her from this previous where she was standing. Now she's down.
All right. Looks like Tecia Torres was able to get an arm free. So it looks like she's going to try to pass this position and get to a full mount. But Dern, for her part, still hanging on to one arm.
I mean, listen, wear and tear. You got to be pulling against it to try to get free.
We are less than half of this round, and Tecia Torres and Mackenzie Dern, they have their.
Dern just can't get it there. She just can't quite get it there.
No. And I'm not really sure where Tecia Torres is. Like it seems like this would be an opportune time to stand them up, I think. I don't think either one of them has a very clear advantage. And neither one of them is really progressing things.
Yeah, so you're just holding on for dear life.
Right.
Both ways, frankly, because if Dern lets go and Torres gets free, it's a different game again.
We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left of round 2.
I feel like Torres has looked strong though.
Yeah, she definitely has. Like I said, she's giving Mackenzie Dern all she can stand. And I'm sure like Mackenzie Dern, when she took this fight, was like, "Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be April in Jacksonville. The weather will be nice. It'll be nice to get away." And it's like,
now she's in a full scramble.
Yeah,
it's almost like they're in between rest hold.
Well, it looks like Mackenzie Dern transitioned to trying to tap the leg, but Tisha Torres, for her parts, doing a really great job of fighting it.
It's good.
And Mackenzie Dern better watch herself because she's going to be like, her muscles are going to be burning. She's going to be fatigued when this round's over.
Yeah, exhaustion works both ways.
We have about 30 seconds to go here. Mackenzie Dern trying to pull that leg, but Tisha Torres has her blocked every which way but loose. It's just Mackenzie Dern just lazily beating her about the head and face.
She's like, I should look like I'm doing something.
All right, we have less than 10 seconds. I can't imagine Mackenzie Dern's going to pull anything out of her rabbit's hat here.
No, this is going
Magic
next round.
All right, and we are out of round 2 and into round 3. I will be right back. I got to jump around a little bit to shake the cobwebs out.
Yeah, man. Tell us what you thought about that last round. Tisha Torres, the heavy underdog, holding tight. And actually, Mackenzie Dern, going back to her corner, looked just gassed. She didn't look like she was out of it, but she looked like she put every bit of exertion into holding on for dear life through the rest of that round. Tisha just so good using the leverage on the backside to stay alive. And Mackenzie also not willing to give an inch. Very interesting. Not nearly the throwaway match that it would have appeared on paper. Still coming up this evening, we still have Burns versus Kimev, Sterling versus Yan, and Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung. I think I said that better than Mark. If you think I pronounced that better than Mark, let us know in the comments. Robert, if you're out there watching somewhere, I know you got my back on this. I know you do. If you've got a favorite match coming up this evening, let us know that as well. If you took the underdog on one of these matches, good on you. I did not, and I feel like I probably totally should have. Like my boy Mallet earlier in the night with a win.
So Jay Roy says you got to go 1-1 headed into the third. What do you think?
Completely agree. And I mean, Mackenzie Dern took the control back on that one, but overall, how successful was she? I don't know. I think that she might have burnt herself as much as she burnt Torres.
All right, we are into round 3 here, the final round of the strawweight bout. About a minute has passed, and girls are still going toe-to-toe here. Not a whole lot of advantage on either side.
Just go back to that jumping Kimura. Not a lot.
All right.
Torres holding her spot.
Yeah. We're not much further along than where we were in round 1.
No, and that's dangerous, I think, for Dern, because if Torres can pull off a couple of big things and she's already got a round under her belt.
Yeah, she wins at 2-1.
All of a sudden, Mackenzie Dern is on the losing end of a decision.
So, according to the stats here, Dern has 35 head strikes to Torres. I think it was 10, but Torres has 15 body strikes to Dern's 3 and 19 leg kicks to Dern's 2. I think it's a pretty clear indicator she's probably winning the fight.
Well, I mean, even with all that control in round 2, I think Torres still has the advantage on the total control time.
All right, Dern is trying to go for a takedown here. She's got the leg. Torres is hopping on one leg here. Dern is trying to go for that trip. She finally gets it after the second try. Go. Oh, Torres just boots her in the face. She should have stayed on her. She had her against the fence.
She's not aggressive enough. She's taking too long.
Well, that was a nice little spin kick she did there.
Yep.
Yeah, once she had when she kicked Dern in the face during that scramble and she went into the cage, she should have stayed on her instead of giving her a chance to breathe again.
Yep. This round, I feel like this round is pretty balanced. This is the opportunity for you to take it.
Mm-hmm. Well, to Dern's credit, she is trying to get something going here. She is in Tecia Torres' face, but she's not. Dern has not been able to effectively cut the ring off or keep Tecia Torres from moving.
Yeah, there's no lack of effort. It's not like one of those matches where you're like, oh, Dern just isn't doing anything. She's just not successful.
That is very evident.
She's trying. Kudos to Torres on the defense that she's had throughout this match.
Mm-hmm. Dern was doing something there. I think she may have gotten hit with a punch, and I don't know how much of it was a knockout blow or how much of it she was just off balance.
I mean, she did take that foot earlier. That front kick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Less than a minute left for the ladies.
Not a lot of time left, and I'm torn on this round.
I don't know. I feel like Tecia Torres came out ahead here and had the most significant blows of the round so far.
Big blows, right?
Right. Again, Scott Kachowski always says, who do you want to be at the end of that fight?
Oh, yeah, definitely Torres right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dern just looks ineffective.
And against someone like a journeyman like Tecia Torres, this is not a great loss for Mackenzie Dern.
No, this is bad.
Like a Paige Van Zandt deal where, you come in from the indies, you're made to be a big star, and you'll lose every single one of your fights.
Boo.
Oh, Mackenzie Dern thinks she's got it in the shade here.
I don't think she does. Interesting to see what the scores are here now.
Yes, sir.
If I'm looking at the stats on ESPN Plus,
mm-hmm.
Torres still has more. She has 16 more successful strikes. She still has 30 seconds more control time.
Showed good defense. And here's when she switched to the leg. Went for a knee bar.
I think it's Torres.
And then Torres.
Yeah, I agree. I think Torres won 2-1. And not just because in the poster, you got the Korean side and I got the non-Korean side, but
Turned the tide in that third final round. And you can argue there are fewer.
I feel like I should have taken DraftKings up on that offer. $5 will get you 100 back. I could have cleaned up in a couple of these.
It's so funny because my wife's like, hey, I don't know if you've ever tried to do DraftKings before, but it's illegal in Florida. I'm like, yeah, I know, I have, and they're like, we don't support this app in Florida. I'm like, damn you, Hollywood.
Sorry, brother. Newfoundland dies for that, so we're all over it.
Oh, they just made a point of fact that they're taking a long time for the decision. Oh, I think we're gonna get splitsies. Split draw.
Hi-ya!
All right, here we go.
All right, the official decision is in. Here's Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. Barry Luxembourg scores the contest 29-28 Torres.
Yep, split decision.
Scores it 29-28 Dern. And Christopher Lee scores the contest 29-28 for the winner by split decision. Mackenzie.
Ooh.
Oh, boo!
Canelo 120-0.
That's a hard boo.
Yeah, and the crowd knows it too. I'll be right back in just a second.
Hard boo on that. What are your thoughts? I personally thought, even from a split decision, I don't give that to Dern. I don't think that any of her things were so effective. In fact, arguably not effective, considering how many times Torres was able to switch. Torres was able to get out of her submissions. There was that period midway through the third round where she was hopping around on one leg and Dern could not take her down for 5 or 10 seconds. Disagree. That's a hard disagree on my behalf. If you think differently, if you think that's all Dern, please, by all means, tell us in the chat below on your chosen platform. If you agree and you think that Torres was the victor of that match, especially coming into this in a lower position on the overall standings, let us know that too. I can't like it. I cannot like it. I don't think that Dern landed any shots that were harder than Torres brought back on her. And I think, if anything, Torres staggered Dern a couple times. All right. Well, it is what it is. Sometimes you don't have to like it for it to be the case. Also, Kenzie Dern's husband is a strange looking dude. He's like a budget Bruno Mars. Who knew? Who knew? See what Joe's saying. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it.
Sorry, I have to keep like getting up and moving around. Or
That's all right, man.
Oh, look, it's Tony Khan and Jim Ross. It's Tony Khan.
Hey, there you go. In your absence, we also talked about how Mackenzie Dern's husband looks like a budget Bruno Mars. He's a strange looking dude.
The Bruno Mars that you order on Wish.
Yeah, not good. Not good. But not even Wish, like the Wish that subs to Alibaba and you still don't even know what's going on. Here's
all right. All right, this week on the Radulich Broadcasting Network, we finish up with our two-part Megadeth retrospective that we did back in 2013. I believe it's Cryptic Writing through the album 13 will be reviewed tomorrow. In the evening time, myself and Harry Broadhurst will be reviewing Joey Janela's Spring Break 6. On Monday, April 11th, we'll be re-airing our original Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them review from a few years ago. Jesse will be dropping an Unspoken Issues for Cosmic Carnage. And then, as I said, myself and Ronnie Adams will be reviewing Ambulance, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. It's the new Michael Bay movie. Tuesday, we have our usual Damn You Hollywood spot with myself, Alexis Hana, and Robert Winfrey. We'll be talking Sonic the Hedgehog 2. On Wednesday, we're going to be taking a break from the Metal Hammer of Doom, and myself and Jesse are embarking on a new TV party tonight where we're looking at the produced works of David Simon, starting with the first Homicide season 5 this month, next month season 6, the month after season 7. So from Homicide all the way to like Show Me a Hero and The Plot Against America, I believe it's called, The Wire, The Corner, The Deuce, Generation Kill, all of that. Every season of television that David Simon produced that we have on the Wikipedia page, we're going to look at one season at a time, starting with Homicide season 5. And then Alexis Hana and I will be reviewing, assuming I can get it watched in time, Resident Alien season 2 part 1. We'll be taking Friday. We'll have a re-airing of Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. And then on Saturday, we have a re-airing of Damn You Hollywood Inferno, the Tom Hanks movie. And then, like I said, in the evening, we'll be doing hopefully I won't be like tired and start speaking gibberish, but we'll be doing an alternative commentary for Errol Spence versus Eugenius Ugas. So that's what's going on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network.
Hello. Sleep when you're dead.
That's what I keep telling people. Everyone's like, how do you stay up like multiple nights in a row doing stuff like this? I'm like, you sleep when you're dead.
At some point, I just start speaking Hebrew. It's fine.
I think I was explaining to somebody I'll be doing these and I'll clearly start to be falling asleep while talking. So I start just whatever's in my subconscious just starts coming out, and I'm like, and then I have to catch myself like, oh crap, I'm not making any sense.
I can't say that out loud.
Yeah, like, oh no, quit talking about ambulance for no reason.
I assume that that's how you get it all recorded. Is that like basically you fall asleep, your wife rolls a tape recorder in front of your mouth, and then you just. Michael Bay blew a bunch of stuff up. It was Michael Bay. It was good.
Yeah, that's how Thursday went. I was actually asleep while recording Pam and Tommy. I was like, how porn came to be. Internet porn.
Pam's really
wine, wine bottle in the twat. What? Jay Roy says JR looks like he was forced to be there with Tony Khan.
Oh yeah, he does sound like pumped to be Stevie.
Jim Ross is there as Tony Khan's like the toy. Like he just bought him. Like, come on.
He's his security blanket.
Chaperone. That's the word I was looking for. Tony. Jim Ross has to go chaperone Tony Khan or
Tony Tony wants to go with UFC, and his dad's like, you're not going anywhere unless you take Jim Ross with you.
Yes. You need supervision, Tony.
You either cut your hair or you take Jim Ross. You tell me.
Tony, stop trying to buy Nurmagomedov. First of all, he's retired. Everybody has a price for Tony Khan.
I mean, so far so good.
Alrighty, they are showing a package now for this next fight: Gilbert Burns versus Kazmat Chimaev.
Excuse me.
You right there, bud?
Yeah, choking on my cinnamon heart.
That's what she said.
Yep. Liked it.
So, hey, if you're enjoying our alternative commentary, my half asleep gibberish, Dan choking on cinnamon hearts, check out what we did last weekend. Started off really, really good. Yeah, we did the Ring of Honor. We did the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. We did NXT. Those went off without a hitch. And then I had the problems with WrestleMania Night 1. Also, by the end of that, having done one on Friday, one Saturday afternoon, and being on my third in 2 days, by the time we got to the end of WrestleMania Night 1, we were all like, I'm done with this. Enough already.
They were more long shows, too.
They really were. I think it was like 4-hour shows. Like I thought they were going to be 3 hours, just straight 8 to 11. Nope. 4 hours.
I mean, I was thankful that it wasn't an extra 2 hours of pre-show where you had to watch to see if there was any matches, but
yeah, I was actually surprised because normally they do matches on the pre-show, but I guess because they split it into 2 nights, they didn't have to. Yeah. Why watch the pre-show?
Why watch the pre-show?
I don't need to hear the WWE commentary team try to analyze fake fights.
I mean, I love me Booker T.
Sure. Quacky ducky quack quack.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also love the commentators trying to avoid anything that Jerry the King Lawler is going to say that is not appropriate for TV. But other than that, there's no need.
Jerry, get back in your doghouse, and you're not allowed to come out.
Jerry, keep the crown on.
Keep your pants on, googly.
Oh yeah.
All right, here comes the man.
Here comes the money. We got Chimaev on this, right?
What was that?
We got Chimaev on this, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I like Burns. Good fighter.
This will be a tough challenge for him, for sure.
Chimaev's beard is so immaculate. I mean, it's super.
Yeah, I gotta get mine trimmed up and shaped again.
I mean, I also wonder if and this seems like a question for a physicist, but that really tight, well-groomed beard, if you take a shot on the chin, does it kind of protect you?
It acts like a bit of padding.
Like just enough. Just slows it down just enough.
Well, as we said earlier about mustaches, with great beard comes great responsibility.
That's correct. And a beard ride is not the same thing.
No, it is not.
I kind of hope one of these days, like, somebody has the full Undertaker entrance.
I don't know if the WWE is not really big on like fun entrances.
Yeah,
I still remember when they bought Strikeforce and they started having guys come over one at a time, and they did the big Jake Shield, George St. Pierre. It was like one of the best promo packages and commercials for any UFC fight ever. I think the only one that maybe outdoes it is Rampage versus Rashad. There's going to be some black on black crime. That's a classic.
I was watching Ultimate Fighter 10 earlier.
Oh, yeah?
And forgot just how much I love how crazy Kimbo Slice is.
See, my favorite part of that season is Rampage breaking every single door in the place.
Oh, yeah. He's just, hiya.
I think he won where there was one where he didn't even bother to open it. He just walked straight through it.
Well, the episode that I was watching just before supper today was like episode 4 or 5, something like that. And Rashad picks the match because they were up 3-0 at that point. And they're showing the two rooms before the fight of that episode happens.
Mm-hmm.
And in Rampage's locker room, there's a fighter. What is it? It's like Marco or somebody. And there's not a single coach in the building. They all went out for supper and drinks, and they come back like 5 minutes before the fight. And Rampage's like, so there's no coaches here. It's like, no, they were with you, dude. Somebody should stay behind. I mean, I feel bad now. Somebody should stay behind. And you're like, yes, you're the coach.
It's really funny. All right, here comes Gilbert Burns, who looks like he's ready to like jump out of an airplane.
Yep. He doesn't look like he's having nearly as much fun either. Matt feels like he's having the best time of his life.
Nah. Give me half a second here while he's walking.
Mark's going for a cold shower. Also trying on his Speedo for later episodes. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, Burns looks like he wants to have it, but he is way more serious about this moment. If you think that this is a match that's going to go the distance, if it's going to go to decision, let us know in the comments below. Or if you think Kimov comes in and explodes, this is a short fight of the night, let's see it. I wouldn't mind a couple of those. And again, makes the night go a little bit quicker, and it's very exciting. Burns known for that explosive power, so he has that potential. Kimov, I think, he's won half of his matches by submission, 5.81 out of the 10 wins that he's got, but just over half, if the math works out in the jigs and the reels. If you'd rather that this match ended because Will Smith came in and slapped him in the face, also let us know. That's the mic drop moment of the night. Still coming up this evening, we still have Sterling versus Yan and Volkanovski versus Jung as the co-headliner this evening, both title matches. See what's happening on those fronts. I mean, I would really like to see the Korean Zombie take that match. I really don't think that it's possible, but how fun would that be? How exciting would that be? 8 years since your last title shot. You walk in and you a guy who's 23-1. I think that feels good. I don't know if we're posting Grammarly this evening, but you can use Grammarly to help you streamline your writing and your inter-email things and making sure that you're writing the best possible thing that you can write with the most efficient, most effective form of language. Hasn't helped Mark with his pronunciations of last names for fighters yet, but maybe that's a feature they'll add in the next update. There he is, freshly cooled, freshly refreshed. The return, Mark Radulich.
Here I am. Yeah, I gotta between these fights, I gotta get up and like walk around a little bit. I was like cleaning up cups and whatever. I was like running around my living room. I should just leave the camera. I should just leave the camera on at this point.
You need one of those like misting fans.
Yeah. What I need to do is not spend the entire week staying up way too late.
I mean, there's that option. That is a potential.
It wasn't even because of podcast stuff. I was like just up talking to friends and whatnot a couple of nights this week.
It's okay. It's good. You have a very active social life.
You don't know the half of it. All right, here we go. We are in the welterweight division here. Gilbert Burns, Kazma Chimaev, or Shamil Shamazel, Hasselpfeffer Incorporated. All right, we have had 2 decisions so far, Dan Lasby. 2 decisions.
I know. This is one I'm hopeful for.
I need a finish here.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful this is an explosive finish. And actually, potentially, Sterling versus Yan could also be explosive finish.
Yeah, I cannot do an
3 more matches from a distance.
3 more. Yeah, I cannot do 3 more decisions. You will see me just start banging a shoe on my desk. All right. Oh, look at that. Chimaev threw punches. He immediately went in for a takedown. This is what I'm talking about. See, and we talked about that in the first 2 fights where people were not doing that. Like, go ahead and throw your punches, but you got to like duck in there and go for that takedown.
You got to explode.
Mm-hmm.
He also looks like he's having the best time of his life.
All right, they are tied up against the fence and they are exchanging knees into the thigh.
Love me a knee.
All right, Chimaev looking to gain some leverage to try to get Gilbert Burns to his to the mat. Little punches, little short punches there while they're tied up against the fence.
Follow it up.
All right, Chimaev finally drags him to the mat. Gilbert Burns still fighting, though.
Burns should have kept that headband.
I don't think you're allowed to fight with that.
What? Come on.
All right, Chimaev roll. I love it. Love a nice little roll there.
That's it. Come on, man. Let's see some 11-0 action right now. Okay.
They're back to their feet again.
Still active.
And Chimaev definitely in the lead here with almost 2 minutes down of the first round.
100%. High percentage.
I want to see more of that, man. Big kick there from Gilbert Burns.
Okay.
Chimaev returns fire, but he gets caught coming in.
Burns has the power. That's what he's got to do. Burns got to get some big shots. He's not had the opportunity, but that's what he needs.
Chimaev just unloaded on him. He was not able to take advantage of whatever aggression he was showing. Oh, big right hand from Gilbert Burns.
There it is.
Chimaev says, "Bring it on, big boy."
Chimaev. Jeez. I mean, I like his hunger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Burns can keep this up.
Oh, big punches there.
All right, Slugger. That's what you got to do. Chimaev looks like he's just hungry for it. Okay.
See, they both slowed down now considerably in this round. Like Chimaev came in hot.
Yeah.
He got an advantage in the first 2 to 3 minutes with the 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes to go.
I think that's
they just had an exchange of punches, and Gilbert Burns laid one in there. Chimaev is still coming forward. Oh,
that's
Chimaev might have lost his footing and slipped there with that punch, but Burns didn't take advantage of it at all,
which is a mistake. That's what he's got. He's got power. That's it.
These guys can be a little deferential to each other, on slips and whatnot. You're in a fight. Like, I'm not saying you have to cheat to win or anything like that, but someone falls, that's an ample opportunity to go after them.
Neither one of them is even Canadian. Like, what is going on?
Sorry. Oh, there it is. That's a mistake, as they say on TikTok. Yeah, Chimaev is going ham on Gilbert Burns now. He's just ground and pound from full guard, and he's got such a lanky frame to him that he can reach with no problem.
He's going to run out of time.
Yeah, he's got 30 seconds left, and he's now just standing over, and Yosemite Sam's going to stand him up now. I would have just kept pounding on Gilbert Burns. I wouldn't have given him up like that.
No, should have run the clock out, just pounding on him.
Well, that is a clear round for Chimaev now.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting to see if he comes back out and explodes again, or if he tries a different tactic. I think explosion is the right course of action.
All right, Gilbert Burns with a Gilbert Burns is cut open. We'll see if he gets checked by the doctor.
This is no good. It's no good for Burns.
Might not be too bad there. Boy, his corner really jumped on him too.
Well, I mean, like most of his wins, I think, are big, heavy shots.
Mm-hmm.
And Chimaev took him on both. He took some shots. He shook him off. He mounted him and beat the tar out of him.
Right hand stuns Gilbert Burns. Straight right. Boom. Down goes Gilbert Burns.
It's bad.
I tell you, thank you, Ronnie. Ronnie in with the hot take. More dinosaurs.
More dinosaurs.
Chimaev didn't want to gas out in the first. No, I get that, but I think there was room to do a little bit more work, even from full guard. Like, maybe instead of just pounding on him and feeling like, this isn't really getting me anywhere, maybe that was an opportune time to pass guard.
I mean, I feel like it feels like a disrespect piece. Like, he grounds and pounds him, then he gets him up, and he grounds and pounds him, and he gets him up.
And then he's like shrugging when Gilbert Burns is like, no, I'll just nap here. It's fine.
Yeah. It's that youthful confidence.
All right. Gilbert Burns tried for a takedown there, but Chimaev wasn't letting him have it. Glancing shot there from Gilbert Burns.
He just doesn't look like he's got it unless he can throw something super heavy. And I don't think that he's shown the Chimaev to just drop from it.
Oh, big counter punch from Gilbert Burns.
Okay.
Chimaev, if he's not careful, is going to end up losing this fight.
Yeah, he's a little arrogant at this point. A little too arrogant. Back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, neither one seemingly aware of like the time on the clock.
I'm
always find it hilarious.
Didn't.
Oh, big swings there from Chimaev.
I think he should take him back down.
Gilbert Burns is trying to.
No, but Chimaev should take him back down. He was successful, and Burns didn't seem to have an answer to that.
Chimaev a little too tentative for my taste right now.
Yeah, which is interesting because he's really dominated the better part of the back and forth. I mean, Burns is monster shots, but
yeah, Burns is tearing him apart now, and Chimaev is covering up to try to survive this onslaught. But we might have an early night here for Gilbert Burns.
Hiya.
And Mr. Chimaev. Oh, big right hand from Gilbert Burns.
That's the cost of your arrogance. You let Burns stick around.
They were just exchanging punches in the clinch. Big leg kick from Gilbert Burns.
I think that's a miscalculation. You leave Burns on his feet, you let him use his power, you might pay for it.
Another 1-2 blow from Gilbert Burns. So Jay's thinking that Chimaev is really slowed down here in the second round. Like he did, in fact, gas, despite the fact that he was trying not to, that he gassed himself out.
I mean, that's entirely possible. More reason to take Burns to the ground.
All right. Chimaev actually did take Burns to the ground there, but Burns fighting well off his back.
Okay.
And they are Chimaev is busted up now, and they are standing toe to toe.
Ridiculous. Get out of the phone booth, man. Burns can knock him out.
A minute and 22 seconds, and we had like a duel in the streets of Texas over there. Just standing there, like, who's going to punch first? I don't know.
The winner gets Pinchel's mustache.
All right. We have less than a minute to go.
I've got to do something big here because I think Burns has come back enough that he's got some points this round. Like, I think I give this round right now to Burns.
I don't know. Chimaev's starting to come alive here towards the end.
Maybe that's
just wishful thinking.
Come on. Get hot.
Really? With 30 seconds to go, we're going to throw lackadaisical leg kicks?
Nope. Questionable choice. Boy,
Chimaev just with the 1-2, 1-2. Up, Chimaev is trying to close in on him. They're both just swinging. Oh! Chimaev got the worst of that one, but he recovered nicely and he took Gilbert Burns down.
I mean, Chimaev's been able to shrug those off, but you can't forever. Holy cow.
Yeah, they broke it up, but it looks like he was still hitting him after the bell.
Burns took an excessive lead on the significant strikes in that second round. He went from being well under to 75 out of 120 in that second round. Big time turnaround on the connection on the strike. Big time turnaround on the power on them. I think it's 1-1. You tell me what you think in the chat below. Whether or not you think that this is still Chimaev's to lose, or whether you think that it's a hard split at this point and whoever tough in the third is actually taking it home. Will Chimaev get his first loss? Will Gilbert Burns make a big comeback and add one more tick to his reasonably storied career? Didn't get a chance earlier to check out some of the things that Mark spoke of that's coming up later this week. The Sleep When You're Dead moments of the Mark Radulich and podcast. There's some movie reviews. There's a brief break from Metal Hammer of Doom. But there is hours, and when I say that, I mean literal hours of content for you to check out in your spare time. Got a long drive ahead of you, check out some content. Got nothing to do on a Saturday night? Check out some content. Want to go back and watch some videos where someone may be showing pictures of another man in an excessively small Speedo? Check out that mother.
What happened now?
Oh, it's
All
picture content. I just had to,
Okay.
I had to bring up the highlights, you know?
Yeah, sorry, I have to keep walking away. All right, we are into round 3 here, and Jay Roy says it's 1-1 going into the third. I tend to
Totally
agree.
agree.
Yeah, that last round was very easily Gilbert Burns.
Very
I'll tell
easy.
you. I'll tell you what, Gilbert Burns not afraid to go to the ground with Chimaev, which I'm impressed with.
Which is impressive because I would have said that would have been his downfall. And Chimaev cannot take that number of shots this round. That's just brain damage.
Chimaev took some hard shots to the face in that second round.
That's what I'm saying. He can't take that volume of power to the head round. He just won't win.
They are just Gilbert Burns starting to go down. Chimaev just broke through the barrier.
Oh
and
no!
He is wailing on Gilbert Burns.
You think Gilbert Burns got gas in the second? He pulled the Chimaev from round 1.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns is like breathing heavy out of his mouth.
Oof!
He's sort of holding Chimaev in place, which is not where you want to be.
No, that's bad news.
For his part, though, Burns is trying to fight Chimaev off of him.
I mean, we're in round 3, so let's go.
Burns with a series of lefts there, trying to break through Chimaev's barrier without utterly upending his strategy.
Yep. Use your power. Get a few shots in. All you got to do is get him to let go a little bit and get up.
All right, less than half of the round left, half of the fight left. And they're still... Burns looks like any second he's just going to go to sleep. But
Yep. I think, to be fair, he looks like that all the time, but still.
Well, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog on... there's a point of me telling this. I'm not just hallucinating again. I saw Sonic the Hedgehog on Thursday, and... why did I start telling that story? Oh my god. There was a whole reason I brought that up relative to this fight, and I utterly lost my point.
I mean, to be fair, Gilbert Burns is not Sonic the Hedgehog right now.
No, you are correct. Neither one of these people is Sonic the Hedgehog. Thank you. Thanks for the recovery there, Dan.
For you, man. This is a mess.
Oh my god. Chimaev just unloading on Gilbert Burns. Big head kick.
So much for round 2, Burns. Come on. He's out of gas. I feel like if Chimaev could just push the pedal a little bit, he could finish this off. Come on now.
Burns is fighting with all his might here.
He's
trying to get through this. Oh. Gilbert with some clean strikes against Chimaev in this last minute here. And Chimaev just walks through him. A couple times he taunted him, but like, yeah, go ahead and hit me. I don't care.
It's questionable strategy. Throw makers, Burns. That's what you got left. Swing for the fences. Burns is bleeding so much.
Nice jumping kick to end the round.
Okay. Well, Chimaev decision, yeah?
Yeah, Chimaev 2-1. So we'll see what happens now with the official score. All right, while we're doing that, my random babble has been brought to you.
You brought it back around?
Yep, about my random babble against Sonic the Hedgehog is brought to you by Grammarly. Grammarly's AI-powered products help people communicate more effectively. Ramley Health Right Mistake Free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. It will not make sense of your inane ramblings when you're sleepy like I am, and you
Won't
insist
it?
on doing your live stream anyway. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, and spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors and improving your vocabulary and suggesting style improvements.
I feel like
Grammarly.
You finish up.
Sorry. Thanks. To download Grammarly today, go to getgrammarly.com/W2M Network. Again, that's getgrammarly.com/W2M Network to download Grammarly for free. All right, now go ahead.
I was going to say you need to add a patch where they'll like help you pronounce names and translate your late night rambling into a full essay.
That'd be great. Could you imagine if I just like didn't try to stop myself and wake myself up or like think about what it is that I'm saying, go, whoa, no, I've now drifted again. And there's literally just like a thing translating and I'm just speaking nonsense into it. And it's like trying to make, coherency out of me. That'd be fantastic.
In the morning, you just press send over to W2M Network and call it a day.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'd do a lot more podcasting if I didn't have to be coherent.
It's like auto-tune, but for like lyrical sense. That was a war. I honestly did not see Gilbert Burns hanging around that long on him.
No, I would agree with you. It was a really, really good fight. I wish there had been a finish, but I'll take the good fight. That was a lot easier to call than the first two.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, hey, he has his headband back.
Yeah, he needs to stop all of the blood that's coming out of his hairline. I think his cut man was like, okay, I'm out of towels, so put the headband back on.
All right. 29-28 across the board.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep. Yeah, that went about as people predicted, unless you're that went about as people predicted it was going to be. I think most people thought you were going to get a finish, if nothing else.
Well, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Burns' chance was to bring big power and see if he couldn't knock him out, but and the second round looked like he maybe could get there, but I thought Chimaev was going to like put a finish on it.
Yeah. All righty. As we listen to Joe Rogan now talk to Khamzat Chimaev.
Hi.
What do you got going on these days, Dan? We'll do some of our plugs as the show goes on, so we don't have to do an extra thing.
That's cool. Then you can go straight to bed at the end. I have 2 podcasts that I'm working on right now: the Detective Trench Mysteries, as well as the All Night Laundromat, which I shall leave the enigmatic. I got a new musical called Sunset Flip, which is as you would think, wrestling musical coming out in the fall, where we're doing a workshop and hopefully streaming that as we shoot it along. And then I'm actually looking to do a musical improv game show in the summer sometime. So see if there's something I can put together for that, and then send you off a clip, Mark, when you're.
Did Bailey reach out to you to do the Dick Tracy radio play?
He did. I was going to send him a text tomorrow to see how that's coming along.
So I think I'm talking to Jesse about it, and I actually have to record some dialogue with my wife for him. But I think he's going to give everyone like instead of doing a table read, like we might do just one scene as a table read for like TikTok and like promos and stuff. But I think the whole thing is we're all like you would for a musical album. We're all recording our tracks separately, and then he's going to stitch them together. But it sounds like just ridiculous amounts of work, but
it's not too bad. It's a lot easier now when you can do everything from your house, where you can literally just download all the files in and slide them to the right spot.
That's fair.
Definitely not an 8-track player that you're trying to record one track to the other so you can lay them one on top of the other.
I don't know. I occasionally will edit some of my old podcasts, like we did a 4-part one on Daredevil, and I'm like, I really want to make this one episode, so I cut it down. I cut each piece of it down quite a bit. You'd be surprised how much crap you can get rid of when you edit.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need this story. I don't need this story. I don't need this tangent.
Well, my wife and I do some voiceover work and some voiceover auditioning, like just from now. And your average track that you're like, okay, I'm just going to read this 1 page of dialogue for this audition. And you'll have 3.5 minutes of like soundbite. And you're like, no. Like this is This is 39 seconds worth of text. Where did I gain minutes from?
Right.
Crazy town. Joe Rogan ever going to fight again, or just polish his head and talk in his bunker?
Did he ever fight?
He
He might have rolled
prelim
jiu-jitsu, but I don't think he ever
right?
fought professionally.
I thought he had like 3 prelim matches, not like a full UFC match. I thought he did. So I'm gonna have to look
I'd
it
have
up.
to look. Yeah. All right.
It would be hard to figure between determining whether or not fireworks sound like gunshots and determining how much pot you have to smoke in order to give yourself a new genome.
I will work on that and I'll send it to you.
Keep notes on your research. Grammarly
Yep.
put it all together for you so that you can send it
All
out.
right. Before we go to our next match, I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera again.
Yeah, walk it off. Walk it off as we get ready for Sterling versus Yan. Champion versus interim champion. Title match. I got Yan all the way on this. Although Sterling has talked a big game, talked about how that disqualification to get in the title in the first place is not how he wanted to win it, which is commendable. But I think Yan has to pay the bills here. 20-3 for Sterling, 16-2 for Yan. And a track record that nobody wants to talk about. Well, that's not true. Sterling definitely wants to talk about it. Yan just wants to put a pinnacle on it and call it a day. Who do you have in this match? Let us know in the chat below. Let us know if you think it is Sterling retaining the title or if it's Yan turning that interim championship into the deal. Also, tell us what you thought of that last match if you haven't already. The decision was, as expected, I think, across the board. Is Chimaev worth the hype? Or did Gilbert Burns just show that he was just another fighter who has a good record and has done well, but his arrogance is going to be the undoing of his overall career? Don't forget that if you get a chance, tag, where's my eye patch? I'm going to push this until it's a thing, I guarantee.
All right. It is co-main event time.
Hoo-ah!
All right. Jay says, if Sterling gets ran over by Yan, he'll go down as the worst champion in MMA history.
Amen. Agreed. I think it could happen.
You think it could happen?
I think it could happen. Sterling made a big
see.
deal about how winning by disqualification isn't how he wanted to win it, but I'm not convinced that he would have won it quite. I'm not convinced he would have won it at all otherwise.
All right. Petr Yan, currently 16-2. He won the interim Bantamweight Championship October 30th, 2021 at UFC 267 in a unanimous decision against Cory Sandhagen. And he's already lost once to Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling beat Petr Yan on March 6th of 2021 for the Bantamweight Championship. And prior to that, he had beaten, submitted. Well, he got an illegal knee is what happened here. So he submitted Cory Sandhagen. He decisioned Pedro Munoz and Jimmy Rivera. Before that, he submitted Cody Stamann, and then he decisioned Brett Johns. He has a loss to Marlon Moraes, Rafael Assunção, and Brian Caraway. Fighting Brian Caraway, baby. So, yeah, Aljamain Sterling. This will be an interesting one to call, I think. We need some finishes here. We got UFC pay-per-views. UFC pay-per-views are done by one. Let's get a move on here.
Full card. That's why we do the whole thing.
That's right. You never know which one of these are going to end. Are going to end in like seconds, or going to go the full 15 to 25 minutes.
Maybe I'm bad luck for you on these. Like they go the full distance every time.
Is that what happened with? Oh, that's right. We did the Ngannou fight because I knew I was going to watch that because it's heavyweights.
Yep.
And then we were like, oh, for sure. And Ngannou's going to end this thing early. And nope, with the whole 25 minutes.
Not occur.
And now they're showing Aljamain Sterling winning with the illegal knee. And he's just heartbroken about it. Look at that. He's thrown
cried
himself
about
on
it. Said he didn't want to win that way. Shmir, shmir, shmir.
And Petr Yan looks like he's about ready to tear Aljamain Sterling's arms off and beat him with them.
Oh, yeah. He's going to eat him and his children. Classic Tyson style.
Clubber Yan. So Jay says Sterling's problem isn't just he won the belt by DQ, but he won by DQ in a fight where he was being dominated. Now the more and more we talk about this, the more and more I think Petr Yan is going to run over Aljamain Sterling. I think we're getting a first round victory here.
First round destruction.
Yeah.
It would be not terrible.
All right. We don't need the hype packets. Let's go.
Hype packet.
Oh, my God.
That hair. Come on.
I have to be up again at 6 o'clock in the morning for work.
I feel you, brother. Petr Yan looks like a serial killer. Just for the record. He got that cold, dead stare.
Leave Petr Yan alone.
I think he's a great fighter, but like that illegal knee, like really, that's illegal knee. Stand back up. I'll punch you in the face again.
He's Russian. You have to forgive him. Sometimes they get a little aggressive. Sometimes they invade a country. It's all fine.
Listen, as the third descendant of some staunch Danes and Germans, I feel you. That's the face of a man who like doesn't cook his meat ever.
Bring me a live cow. I'll carve off what I want and ride the rest home. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-dun. Alrighty, we are finally underway here. I think we're at least shooting the cage. So theoretically, we'll have some fighters here in a moment.
Is where fights sometimes happen.
This is where fights eventually happen.
Petr Yan said about Sterling, Sterling's only strengths are his guile and his acting skills.
Yeah, in the hype package, that's one of the things that Petr Yan mentioned. He was like, he was clearly faking and trying to get sympathy from the referee, and it sort of all backfired. That's what I'm saying. I think Petr Yan is going to run across the ring and start sort of elbowing him and punching him.
Perfect. That's a hard yes, please.
All right, here comes Petr Yan, ready to do business.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
I wish you'd do that little dance. That'd be great.
Jing, jing, cut the chatter. Alrighty. While we're waiting for Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling to begin this fight, let me tell you what went on last week here on the W2M network. Monday night, it was myself and Pat Mullen. We concluded our Mania of WrestleMania show by looking at WrestleMania 20 and just sort of discussing the whole series at large. And then in the late night hours, myself and Harry Broadhurst reviewed Effie's Big Gay Brunch. And No Peace Underground's Fear the Gay Agenda, featuring the last daddy standing, Effie versus Para, which was a really fun match. Though it did cause me to have to explain to my son why gay men call each other daddy, because he was wondering about that. We reviewed
called whatever you want, son.
So Robert and Pat reviewed Morbius. I was there, but if you think I've been AFK tonight a lot, you should see the Morbius show, where it's like, hey, I was like, I have some complaints, and my wife had been out for the evening, and she comes in right as I start, like, between the intro and just getting Pat's feedback on the character Morbius and why he wanted to be on the show in the first place, and then Robert's plot synopsis. I finally get to talk about Morbius, and in walks my wife. She's like, let me tell you about the night that I had. And I'm like,
Okay, I'll be back. Bye, guys.
Yep. AFK. Sorry.
Amazing.
So there was, and then I came back, and it was like I didn't realize how long I had been off the show for, but we were almost at an hour, and I tried to keep the craft review to just about an hour, and then do the next 2 segments over the course of 30 minutes.
Sure.
I was just like, yeah, I give up. Morbius sucked. Don't go see it. Anyway,
it sucked, really?
Yeah, it was not great.
Oh,
My kids liked it, but they're like 8 and 11. They don't have taste.
sure.
All right, Wednesday we reviewed Lordy Abusement Park, and then Thursday we reviewed Pam and Tommy. Have you seen Pam and Tommy yet?
I haven't.
Oh, it's worth a watch. Definitely.
My wife is
Definitely watch
watching
Pam and Tommy.
My wife is watching it. My wife watches more TV than I do. I don't do enough
Mhm.
TV of the watching. And she's like, I didn't realize. And I have to be like, yeah, no, that's very interesting. I also did not know that.
Yes, we didn't. Nobody knew that Tommy Lee talked to his penis and his penis talked back.
I can't believe that. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I'm sure things were dramatized for effect, but I would absolutely believe Tommy Lee speaks to his penis. Like,
I mean, listen.
long engaging sessions.
My wife hasn't noticed that I have Nikki Sixx's biography that I've read more than once on my, so I'm just gonna leave it like that, and it's gonna be fine.
Okay, then what's the note say?
What's the note say when she finds it? No, Nikki Sixx. It's his biography.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought
Nikki
she
Sixx
left.
doesn't hold anything back, and Tommy doesn't.
I thought your wife left a note in the book.
No. She doesn't realize
Okay.
that the book is there. So when she's like,
Oh,
"Oh no, it's fine. I didn't realize this," I'm like, "Yeah, no, me neither."
okay. So Jay's saying he couldn't get past the first episode of Pam and Tommy. Accurate. That's a long, drawn out, slow episode, and you're like, I thought this was going to be fun. What is this artsy fartsy crap? You got to get into episodes 2, 3, and 4, and before you make an accurate judgment. So give it another shot. It is worth, the whole thing is worth the watch. But I get it. We have our Thursday night date. Sometimes it's on the couch. Sometimes it's we just watch the whole thing in the bedroom. And I remember watching the very first episode and nearly falling asleep. So you stick with it though.
Set up all the preamble in one episode and then call it a day.
Well, it's really weird the way Pam and Tommy was written. That first episode, it deals so much with the setup, with the carpenters working on the house, and it's like so much of the shots and so much of what takes up that episode is literally just watching Seth Rogen try to build this bed for Tommy Lee.
So what you're telling me is that's what they actually pitched to Netflix, and then when they were like, "We got green lighted, quick, go, write the rest of the episodes," before they realized,
oh no, we don't have enough story for this. We'll just keep doing flashbacks like every other show on Netflix does. It's fine. This is on Hulu, by the way, in America at least.
I mean, listen, the next thing Hulu should pay for is they should put Dennis Rodman, Tommy Lee, and the Tiger King in a house for brother and just see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think anything good.
Everything good, Mark. That is like everything that you could possibly want.
So Aljamain Sterling is like running around the cage and like stops and looks over at Petr Yan. He's like, "Hey man, good fight. Well, let's go. Let's do this." And Petr Yan looks like he's about ready to, like, as soon as that bell rings.
Yeah.
Aljamain Sterling better jump out of the cage and run.
Yeah. You should have prayed on your way in. That's what you needed. Do that? No? Well, last rites.
So Aljamain Sterling with the far superior reach advantage at 71 inches to 67.
He's got to keep him far enough away to make that work.
All right, Bruce Buffer's doing the introductions now. Yes, Deontay Wilder is...
Right? He has a stroke at some point.
I hope not.
No, listen, you can't yell and explain like that for that many consecutive and not at some point just actually explode.
Goes into the doctor's office like, why is your
blood pressure is 600 over 45?
Thank you. Why? God only knows what mine is right now. Yeah, why is your blood pressure like 300 over 50? All right, I think we're actually ready to get started here.
Switch.
Boy, when people ask me, like we have Petr Yan here, who's from Yekaterinburg, Russia.
I'm telling you, man, you got to send the notes back to Grammarly.
You're from Portland. Next. I'm from Kazakhstan. Terrific. You're from Seattle. Goodbye.
Fantastic. Does it rain there? Seattle it is.
Yeah, right. We haven't taken too many opportunities to visit the rest of Florida outside of Tampa. Like, we go here and there. We went to Pensacola last year, things like that.
Sure.
Been to Miami a bunch of times, but there is definitely a lot of Florida that just looks like a lot of Florida.
Yeah, there is. My grandparents had a Sebring for like 40 years. It's a lot of Florida to drive through to get to Sebring.
Yeah. Sebring's like on the other side of the earth, it feels like. I remember it was further south than when I was commuting to Polk County Jail in Frostproof.
Yeah.
All right. Jay says there's a big pop for Yan.
Boom.
All right. They meet in the center. Everyone's booing Sterling. Well, poor Sterling.
No, he sucks.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Make this exciting for me.
He didn't even show up with his exciting hair. Come on, Sterling. You had one job. That's okay. Maybe he makes this legitimate.
First round knockout.
You just had Sterling's back, and now you're like, punch him in the mouth. I see how it is, Mark.
All right. Sterling not wanting to give Petr Yan a big target, but he's doing some circling, but Petr Yan's keeping very much an eye on him.
Swinging.
Both men still pointing at each other. I'd like to see Sterling actually like use his reach.
That's what he's got at. I don't think that he can afford to get in tight.
So he just shot a shot. He went for a takedown and he got nothing from it. And they're saying,
which, I mean, good for him, but his takedown percentage is really low. I think it's only like 25% normally. Oh no. Yan looks like he's going to drink his blood.
Yeah, sure. Yan looks like very serious, very dedicated, but I wish he'd be
not doing anything though.
Yeah, he's not doing anything.
I feel like in the highlights that I watched from the match where Sterling got the disqualification, that he started well. He started well in the first round of that match. I mean,
leg kick and a swing and a miss from first Sterling and then Yan. Sterling kicks to the chest. See, I like what he's doing, at least in theory. You know, he's throwing some kicks. He's going up top. Like, he's a more complete fighter, but I think
he's not hitting a lot of those. He's missing a lot.
Right. Yeah, like he's just settled into, the potential company role there.
And some of those body shots that he sent, like, Yan is just eating those. Now, Yan can be more aggressive in return.
Front kick from Sterling.
Interested to see if Yan is waiting for him to gas himself out a bit and then go for the takedown of his own.
Yan better do something.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of attempts. I mean, the few that he's connected with have been big, but there's only like one or two of those.
Sterling looking for another takedown, but Petr Yan's not giving him much to work with.
No, and he's awfully close to the cage. I'd be interested to see if Yan just presses him up against the cage like times as he cuts him towards the corner. He's got to do something. He's going to give this round to Sterling out of lack of action.
I think Petr Yan attempted a takedown there, but Sterling, it's like bumper cars in there.
Yeah, Sterling should be able to use his reach to be able to see it coming a mile away. Be a little bit further back. They are
Like
in and out.
if Jan's gonna like just jump in and like throw some shitty short punches, like
That's not a bad idea. Like Yan has a stalking pose, but he's not pouncing. A couple of pounces, but they haven't been successful.
all right, now Jan's starting to go after Sterling just a bit.
That's good. Finish it up.
Yeah, less than a minute. Bret Hart will thank you.
Bret Hart will thank you. Oof.
All right, Yan has started to pick up the pace a little bit, and Sterling ain't got nothing for him. I'm sure some of that has to do with,
Knowing the round's coming to an end.
yeah.
And I think Sterling got to think that he's got enough to win that round.
I would almost guarantee it. So Jay says this is how Yan fights. He takes a round to see what you got, then he starts to come on like quicksand, and the next thing you know, you're drowning.
Yeah, and that's how the last match started as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting to see if he just comes out like.
So Sterling looks like mad at himself.
Well, I think that Sterling's best bet was to like go hard on that first round, and I think that he was just okay.
Yeah.
And remember, he went for the takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 takedowns, and he wasn't successful on either one. And technically, they didn't count Jan's takedown against the cage where he missed.
Well, thanks for clearing that up.
It doesn't look like Sterling doesn't look like the champion. Like generally, the champion, like when we see Volkanovski come out later, the champion looks confident. He looks like I deserve to be here. Sterling looks tentative, like he thinks maybe I don't deserve to be here.
All right, round 2 underway. And Sterling doesn't have nearly the pep in his step as he did the first round.
No, he poured a lot on. Yan like a robot.
All right, here we go. Round 2. Sterling now with a series of kicks. Sterling just one punch at a time.
One punch at a time and not connecting anywhere near the number that he has to if he's going to fight like that. Looks more tentative this round. He looks nervous.
The old first title defense blues.
Well, I mean, you had talked about how much extra reach he has. It looks like he's desperate to keep Yan in reach.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Far enough back that he can contact, but also far enough back that he can get out of the way as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
A little more active from Yan. To take the trees out from under him.
All right, Yan gets taken down, and Sterling kind of floating between trying to pass guard. Now he's got full on got his back. Could you imagine if Sterling actually like wins
through a submission of all things?
Yeah, right.
That would be bonanza. Be interesting to see. I can't imagine that Yan is going to give up no matter what.
No, not at all.
Not as tight as I'd like.
I'll tell you what, though, a guy who gets you in that position, it's hard to get out of, especially if the guy is stronger.
Well, there was something that I was noticing that I also really like is that Sterling's legs being so long, like he almost does he locks off his own foot at the ankle with his second leg.
Mhm.
Got to be a lot easier than just try to ankle lock yourself.
Agreed.
Being able to cross that full foot over and then clamping down on it is incredible.
All right, well, less than half the round, a little over half the round is done.
Sterling
Still got that body lock.
Jan's got to do something. He's got to break free here, or at least spin around.
Yeah, this round too has been almost all Sterling.
Yep. Sterling doing a good job keeping him against the fence.
It was a fun angle there for a second.
That's the "Are you still watching" angle. Are you still watching? Yes, I am. I feel like Sterling's in control, but I don't feel like he's doing a good job passing to any sort of actual submission.
Still working. Curly is working on the. Sterling's got his back now. Oh my God, Petr Yan might be losing this one.
I cannot believe this. Honestly, like this is ridiculous. Like has the back, has some. He doesn't seem to know what the hell to do.
Everyone says the same thing, like, "Oh, I gotta push to either full guard or a full mount, and just wail on the person in front of me." It's like, okay,
but like a submission is a strike, and better because you can't fight if you can't breathe.
That's correct.
Hernandez showed that earlier tonight against Froomed. He tried every step in the book. It's a very interesting.
So Petr Yan is breathing heavy.
Yeah, well, he's fought hard to like rotate, and he keeps going back, but not in a way that he's getting any sort of leverage.
Yeah. Well, for Sterling's part, I think he can live with the fact that this was a boring round, but it's a boring round that he won.
Boring round that he won, and now if Yan can't come out and do something in the third, like Sterling's in a commanding lead.
You know what?
Yep. You're good.
1 second.
So big things on the horizon for the third. What can Yan do here in order to make this work? He's got to come in big. He's got to come in hot. Another underdog making a good showing of themselves. I don't know if you saw the corner during the break there, but Sterling's corner talking him up like he is the king of the castle. Jan's corner talking him up like, hey, listen, you gotta fight your fight. Get your game together here, man. Like you can't let him walk all over you like that. So it'll be interesting to see if it's back with a bit of confidence.
It's funny. I walked away for a second. I looked over and I see Aljamain Sterling just like jump on Petr Yan. I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing it. Wait a minute, that's a replay.
That's okay. That's adrenaline.
Jan's still the favorite, -175.
Yeah, but he gotta come big now.
Yeah, he does.
We're just saying that in the break, the Sterling's corner was talking him up like he was the greatest thing that ever existed, and Jan's corner talking him and saying like, "Hey man, what the hell? Like, this is your game. Get in there."
Jay says this is the best Sterling has looked in 2 fights. All right, we have a scramble here. All right, Yan goes high. Sterling ducks under. He's able to trap him and maybe go for a hurt.
Come on, man. You're making me look bad, Yan.
Well, I think everybody thought that it was only a matter of time before Yan won this fight. And we were a minute and a half down of round 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Title fight.
I mean, moderately better, but he's more.
All right. Sterling has the back again, and he's very pleased with himself.
Yes, he's very pleased with himself. Get some Logan Paul level of punch him in the face here shortly. I mean, now listen, here's what I'll say. It has been good work by Sterling to get to those mount positions, to get the back.
Sterling still got the back. He's looking for a rear naked choke.
That reach is really helping him.
So not a whole lot to call here. He's still working for the submission. Yan tries to punch him off of him, but nothing doing.
I'm a little surprised that Petr Yan doesn't have the strength to just kind of like roll and stand up, to be honest. Maybe Yan has burnt all of his juice to keep the defense up.
All right, Yan trying to fight his way out of it. He starts punching Sterling in the face.
Yeah,
but Sterling, for his part, I mean, there's so many
holding on for dear life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that body triangle is a huge advantage.
He's not really advancing anything, though. Like, he's just
I mean, it's not exciting and it's not moving him forward. But like, Petr Yan hasn't been able to get his legs underneath him. He hasn't been able to like get the air to be able to push because Sterling has that locked in around his waist, really constricting his diaphragm and his ability to breathe. He's let it go a couple of times, but it's just...
All right, he's gone belly down now. Let's see what he still seems to still have the body triangle. We'll see what he does. All right, they're still fighting from the same position here all round long. We have less than a minute.
I cannot believe that Petr Yan is just letting this slip away. Yeah, it's not like he's able to do anything right now, but
no, that's why we keep getting quiet because it makes it hard to know. Like,
it's a difficult piece when it's a consistent, not a rest hold, but like stalemate between the and the offense.
Yeah.
I mean, right now Sterling can feel good about himself, but because at least he's showing that like he can hang as the champion. I don't think that he's presenting himself in a light that says I'm a dominant champion who deserves to take on all comers, but he's also not losing. So,
all right, I think it's the end of the round.
End of the round. Cannot, but just this. Sterling's corner popping open the champagne any second now.
Yeah, because he's making the classic mistake of assuming that the numbered organization and their events just didn't have a bat, didn't have. I knew what I was going to. I knew what I was going. It was what I was trying to say, and I just lost it again.
That's all right. He got to go big here now. His stalking style is not currently working for him.
No. All right, we're back on our feet again. Round 4.
Here we go. Yan, go for the takedown. Come on, buddy.
All right, round 4.
Round 4. Going hard.
Oh, see, Jan's not taking any mess now.
Let's get in there. Let's make this happen.
He was storming across the messages there.
Make it work for Manscaped. Get some of those head punches. Take him down.
Sterling with a big scramble there. And Petr Yan, for his part, seems to be like, I have had enough of what all happened in the last round. He's like, you want to make a movie? Go, wait for the summer blockbusters. I got a story to tell here.
No good.
All right, so looks like during all that scrambling, Sterling went for an actual. Yan has not been tremendously effective, but he's nullified almost every single one of the.
All
attacks.
of Sterling's attempts have been for naught, but Yan has to get some offensive points here. He's got to do something on his own.
It's sitting on my computer at home. I just got to wait for him to actually, use it.
Come on, Yan. Be the aggressor. That's it. I mean, I feel like I generally forget how much of an advantage the reach is.
Mm-hmm.
Because guys have ways to nullify it, but then all of a sudden you'll be in a match and you'll be like, oh shit, 7 inches of reach is incredibly beneficial. Because even with the lockups Yan is doing now, the amount of torsion that due to like move himself away from it is just crazy town.
All right. Yan tried to pursue Sterling from the mount position. It did not work. And it's been impounded.
Ugh. Grab those big limbs and bend them around. Come on, man. No. The triangle of death. I mean, Yan is clearly the stronger of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Use it. Come on. At this point, you need a stoppage to win. You're not winning a decision. So let's go. But with Yan on top, he's not making a ton of headway, but those long limbs. There's more movement for sure than there was when Sterling was on top and in control, or when he had his back. Sterling seemed content to just kind of like hang out and wait for an opportunity.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing. He has definitely been stuck in the guard position, not really able to advance.
Yep. Being belly to belly is not a benefit right now for.
All right. Yan still has Sterling's back.
Running out of time in this round as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, pick him up and slam him at least. Like, get something out of it. Like, I almost wonder why Yan doesn't go for. Oh, he's got. You should use that reach against you. Go for an armbar. Do something that you can kind of like really wrench on it if he's going to keep using it as his defense.
Yan just not able to get anything going on the ground. Like, he's controlled this whole round.
I'll give him the control and I'll give it as a win, but it still puts him down 3-1.
Yeah.
I hope he comes out. I hope he comes explosive here again in the 5th, because right now that's what he needs.
Yeah, Yan needs a finish.
He's got more strikes, but he's got half the control time. So, and those strikes aren't significant for the better part of the difference.
So Jay says it might be 2-2 going into the 5th, depending on how you score the first round.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to count on a 2-2 decision if I'm Yan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, if I'm either one of these guys, if I'm Sterling, I'm trying to get that takedown again. Don't let him too far off the leash and just keep trying to keep slamming him until hopefully somebody stops it. If
you're Sterling, then that's what you hope for. You hope for the control to win, but like,
if I'm Yan, I'm kind of hoping that I can keep this on my feet. I know Yan has been trying to wrestle him, but that's not really going well for him. Like, maybe just stay striking, even leave the kicks out of it. See, look at that. He sits down again and he goes for. There's so many guys whose real names I know.
Like, get inside the bolt, punch the bejesus out of him.
Sterling going for that takedown.
Of course. It's worked for him. And what's worked for Yan is like standing him up and going in hard. So get back at it.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are done right now on this match, which is brutal.
So Jay says that the commentary team is talking about maybe this might be a draw. I would not doubt it.
That's absolutely horrendous.
Oh, especially in a fight like this where where they have a score to settle. Sterling desperately going for a takedown. Sterling has Jan's back. Looks like he was trying to use Jan's muscle against him.
Come on, Yan. Can't like this.
Yeah, Yan breaks free.
Good. I thought he was going for that triangle again, and I was going to be like, no.
All right, just about halfway through the round here.
Sterling should seriously consider a jumping Kimura for his further, because if he's going to wrap everybody up like that, like, Jesus, man, put him out on the feet.
All right. They're both struggling to get to their feet. Yan, for his part, man, like, he's doing what he can.
He's still in it, but like, it's the aggravation of letting himself get locked up and just stalled out. It's a complete stall out. Which, I mean, I guess good on Sterling.
Oh, jumping knee. See, he clearly hit Carl there, and then he doesn't follow up. Aljamain, Jesus Christ. Yan clearly hit Sterling and then did not follow up.
But then he let him go.
Yeah.
He like his success has been when he's pressed.
And Jan's got his back now. He's starting to ground and pound from behind.
I mean, he might have this round right now, but he's got to continue. He's got to be on the gas for the rest of it.
Misses a big kick. Sterling went for another single leg, and I have to give Yan a lot of credit. Like, his wrestling defense is pretty good.
His wrestling defense is very good. I think that this is an opportunity for Yan, though, to be able to, when he reviews this, to be able to say, like, did I clearly identify what worked, and why did I go away from that? And was I clearly able to, like, shift gears between rounds when the same thing kept happening to me round after round after round?
So Jay with the comment here, Yan is worried about the takedown. This is really close. Well, I said any day finish. We are less than 30 seconds away in this co-main.
Sounds...
It looks like we're getting another decision.
Ay, 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 ay. I cannot. I think I still give it to Yan. More movement, more aggression when he was in control.
Yeah.
But it's not a dominant performance for sure.
All right. Let's see what the final judges' scorecards look like.
It depends what that first round was.
I've never seen one. Or I haven't seen one in years.
25 minutes. Bonkers town. Full meal deal. Just in case you were wondering the stats on that, total strikes for Sterling was 79 out of 131 attempts. Yan had 129 out of 188 attempts. But the control still goes to Sterling with 8 minutes and 31 seconds to Yan's 5:51. Just not what I expected that match to be. Not at all. Jay, you're gonna have to give your in and out on your coin toss guess on that one. Really took the crowd out of it too as we went along, because they were so pro Yan, cheering Yan right out of the gate, cheering him through that whole first round, and then nothing. First gear for the whole go. And frankly, regardless of what the decision was, I think this doesn't put it to bed. I don't think that you can say that like the score to settle who's the legitimate champion. This match does not put you in a position where you can say definitively this man is the winner. This man is the better of the two fighters. We shall see. So the scores come up 48, 47, 47, 48, and 48, 47. Decision for Sterling. I need to mute my mic so I can throw up slightly in my mouth. I understand it. Yuck-a-doodle-doo.
Split decision, baby.
That's a yuck-a-doodle-doo. And close. 48, 47, 47, 48, and 48, 47. Barf-a-rama.
They got to do it again, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In your absence, we were just saying this does not definitively decide the better of these two fighters. This basically says you still got a score to settle. We still don't know who's the...
Yeah, this officially settled nothing.
Jack Diddley.
All right, let's go to Twitter. Let's see what people think. What's going on here?
Aljamain's gonna cry again.
Because why not? All right, so Robert Winfrey had it 48-47 Yan. So, of course, it went the other way.
Sure. That's what I would have said. Still super tight. Don't get me wrong. But like, yeah.
All right. Everything from Twitter is like from 45 minutes ago.
It's because this went 25 minutes. That's why. Still the winner by split decision. You need to settle your pants there, Aljo.
All right. Let's see what else we got here from Twitter. I need some good reactions here. You have to, Miko Jarvinen, you have to love Sterling shithousery.
Well, it's their performance, that's for sure.
Algjamain judges tonight are on the take.
Well, it's funny because that's the second decision that I was like, really? I don't know that I would have said
that. Brandon Dowdle. Sterling now has 2 of the weakest championships in UFC history. All right.
And I didn't even get Herb Dean. Come on. I had him double in the prelim.
Excuse me. This is sad, bro. Biggest robbery I've ever seen in my life. Never watching this trash again. Oh, you'll be back. We'll all be back.
Then they'll see the main event, and then they'll see the Volkanovski match and say, "Whoa, what was that?"
All right, 3 rounds to 2, clear as day. No way that's a split.
Oh, gross.
Someone noticed that Dana White was disgusted with the scorecards. All right.
I feel like he just fucking knocked Buddy out in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, please. We're on 4 of 5 decisions already.
TJ standing in the front row like this. I'll fight you.
All right, folks. Well, let me go ahead and do our last plug of the night here to get this over with. We're giving away a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service. If you want to hear "I'm Sorry, So Sorry," you can find it on Amazon Music Unlimited. Did you know that, Dan?
I didn't, but that was gorgeous. Is it you singing on Amazon Music? Your cover?
No, not quite yet. My album's coming out soon. Mark Radulich, Swoons and Croons.
Ooh, I'm all in.
So go ahead and click the link at getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. Again, that's getamazonmusic.com/W2M network. Be a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service. Alrighty. Well, I've done all the alternative commentary stuff. I've talked about what's coming up next week. I've talked about what's coming on, what we did last week. I am out of stuff to plug, Dan.
That's okay. You've also discussed about how much support you have for your family, both your son with your TikToks and your wife. I thought that was exceptionally admirable of you.
Thank you.
I don't know that we need to plug anything else. I think that that decision is Class 1 Hornswoggle, and that's okay. And here's hoping for you that Volkanovski does win first round, even though that will make me sad for the zombie, but it will make me happy for you and your need to sleep. Couldn't remember it was dopamine or cortisol, so I had to just leave it to where there was.
So Jay says that whole fight is comes down to how you score the first round.
100%, and that's bonk.
Yeah,
that's bonk.
All right, we're finally ready for Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie.
Dana should have made them take an extra round, although I think they just would have hung around. All right, Zombie. Show me the money, baby.
I like this footage here. Like, they're focusing on, like, Volkanovski. Like, hey, give us some footage to use. And there's like a guy just chilling in the background. Like, just hanging out on his cell phone.
No biggie.
No biggie at all. All right, I'll be right back.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the match with Volkanovski. 5 rounds, potentially 25 minutes. That puts us right on the 1:30 hour. Not dragging in under 1 o'clock as my poor dear compatriot would really appreciate. And it's not like he's in Canada where it's so GD cold outside that if you walk outside, you've got a new brain and you froze off half your face, so you're wide awake. Florida warmth. What a martyr. Martyr for the cause. Volkanovski finally showing like he's warmed up in there. We shall see what happens on that. I'll be honest. It's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a long match. We won't tell Mark. I don't want him to cry. Don't forget, hashtag where's my eye patch. Told you. I'm not going to let that go away. I'm definitely pushing that to the moon. Volkanovski against the Zombie coming up next. Here in the wee hours of the morning. I almost feel like I'm an AM radio DJ. Welcome to MARK 690 on your AM dial. Late night UFC with every match going to a decision and Sterling still being a bum. You're definitely going to want to be here down the run when Shakur Stevenson comes up again for a match, though, because if you want to see Mark Radulich excited about a fight, Shakur's his boy. That's the one that you want to be there at. Lots of money to be had. Lots of time to catch up. As we do the walkouts here for Volkanovski versus the Korean Zombie, who do you call? Who do you think's got this fight? I think it's got to be Volkanovski, but we shall see. I wouldn't be heartbroken if the Korean Zombie won. You know how I feel about that. That's all good.
I'm back.
From outer space?
Damn it, I forgot the next line.
Darn it, I thought I was going to be able to bait you into another song. Come on, Amazon!
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I understand.
And now you're back from outer space. I just walked in. Space. All right, I got it now.
Almost exactly the words. That's exactly it. Yep.
All right. Well, what else has the UFC got going on these days? Next week, they already talked about it. It's Loki versus Muhammad.
Oh my God, I hope it's Loki.
Be great if it was Loki, right?
That would be incredible.
Then Lemos versus Andrade on April 23rd at the UFC Apex. And then Font versus Vera once again at the Apex. And then UFC 274, May 7th. This is going up against the Canelo fight. I know which one I'll be watching.
Yes, I understand.
This will be Charles Oliveira defending the lightweight title against Justin Gaethje, and women's strawweight champion Doug Rose versus Carla Esparza. I will be watching Canelo.
Canelo Alvarez.
I appreciate you, Dan, holding it together tonight because
that's all right, buddy. You got
this is. I'll be better. I'll be better for the next 3 or 4. I
told them that if they want to see you explode with excitement, they had to be here for the Shakur Stevenson fight.
That's right. Well, hey, look. Here's the reality of it. Tyson Fury is fighting in like 2 weeks.
It's going to be amazing.
It really will be.
10 seconds long. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen?
Dillian White has such a chip on his shoulder. Like
such a chip on the shoulder. No ability to talk about it at all. Like he is at home, full pucker, waiting for it to happen.
All right, we have a we have breaking news. Hang on. I haven't used this clip in forever.
And now, I'm up at News Flash.
Ryan Garcia has beaten Emmanuel Tague over on DAZN.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Jay, with that this just in news bit.
Well done, Captain. Good call out.
How do you like my my clip there?
That was phenomenal. I loved every moment of it.
I enjoy that one. Oh lordy.
I only feel moderately dated in it, but I'm super good with it.
Moderately dated. Oh, come to my window. Come inside. Wait by the light of the moon.
It's super creepy when you say it like that.
Come to my window.
Just come inside. Wait.
I'll be home soon. Come
I bet Fozzie will cover
inside.
that if you ask him.
Wait by the light of the moon.
Mark Radulich sings all the hits. He's here for your tops and bottoms of the charts and some in between.
Yeah, you know that I've got to hit my limit when I just start singing.
No, I love everything about it. I assume that's why your wife decided to marry you. You were like, hey, wait, let me just give you a sample of what could be yours. Come to my window.
Yep, that's that. And now the zombie. What's in your head? What's in your head? Zombie. It's like this got uncomfortable in a hurry. Dan, you went mute for whatever reason. Plug your mic back in. Nope. There you go.
My browser doesn't like me anymore. It says, yo, it's been 3 hours. Every match has gone on. Also, have you noticed that the Zombies Cup man looks like a tiny Rick Fox?
A little bit.
That's amazing.
All right. First round knockout. We used to have fight nights here at the house, and I used to have a whole bunch of friends over. And, we would get to this. I mean, it's now 1 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. We are past 1. Like, everyone was like, oh, what are you doing for the fight? How are you going to have to stay up? And I'm like, oh, well, we'll be done by 1 a.m. Nope. We're just starting. This could conceivably go to 1:30.
No offense, man, but this is not the match that's going. Well, I say that, and then it'll prove me wrong. But this is not the match that's going out 10-second knockout.
So we would all be in my living room, just so tired. Like, wives are falling out, husbands are falling out, people are napping left and right, and we'd get to the last fight and we just start chanting first round knockout. And sometimes we could will one into existence through witchery. Nope, lost you again. Your sound's out. Nope. There you go.
Hey. 3,171 days since the Korean Zombie had a title match.
It's a lot of days.
I definitely have children who aren't that old.
That's funny.
20-3 in Newfoundland, and I had to think about whether or not I had children and how old they were.
All right, here comes Volkanovski. Excuse me. Just strolling. Just taking his...
Breaking the rules. Isn't he from New Zealand?
Let's see here. He is from New South Wales, Australia. Nope, all of that is muted, Dan. Try again. What is going on with your mic tonight?
I don't know. It was fine, and then all of a sudden it doesn't like me anymore.
Well, hey, we've had some people in and out of here. A lot of people got tired of, as amusing as it might have been, got tired of me babbling incessantly and not making a tremendous amount of sense. But they're back now. We have some folks here on Twitch and the W2M Net Facebook page, so welcome. We are finally up to the main event of the evening. Volkanovski is just now getting his final goodbyes here with this team before he enters the cage. He's getting the grease. Yep, there it is. He's getting his grease on. And then he's going to enter the cage, and we will be set for our main event. So please go ahead and share your thoughts, your concerns, your questions, your Bible verses here in the chat. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be one of the lucky ones that we put on screen. And I'm going to try to be as coherent as humanly possible. Not promising anything, though.
That's all right. I feel like we should have a split cam. We should have a walk around cam. And then we could keep an eye on you when you're just walking around your house, seemingly cleaning up.
Oh, before I was like shadowboxing.
Oh, there you go. Cut the camera too, where Mark is shadowboxing and prepping for the next match.
And like, what's he doing? He's trying to get the blood flowing because apparently none's getting to his brain.
To the extremities. Get the extremities.
Go ahead and talk again, Danny. I think you might have muted yourself. All right. Yep, there you are.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, I'm going to need... This is a professional operation, so I'm going to need you to get your equipment fixed before the next time we do this.
I'm not actually sure what's on the go.
All right, we see the tail of the tape here with Volkanovski and the Korean Zombie. We get our final announcements by Bruce Buffer. All right, we got Herb Dean as the referee.
Yeah!
Yay!
Love Herb Dean.
All right, Volkanovski, run across the ring and just start punching Korean Zombie in the face until it's over.
Yep, that's your call. That's your sacred request of the universe.
Yep.
17 punches, seconds, match over.
Volkanovski, otherwise known as One Punch Man.
There you go. I mean, no offense, but I think if it's gonna be One Punch Man, it's gonna be the Korean Zombie. Like, there's rules to manga and anime.
So I would not be unhappy if the Korean Zombie finally won his title. I'd be perfectly fine with that. My only issue is that if it has to go to a decision again to do it, I may have to walk it. Yeah, is right.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, like if I look at the card of everybody that's fought tonight, there was only one other match that I thought would be a blowout. It wasn't. And this was not the one that I thought was going to be a blowout. And actually,
I like how Korean Zombie's just chilling.
Yeah, he's great.
There's
only been one stoppage tonight.
That's right. In the heavyweight fight in the early prelims, there was a submission. Mike Mallet has the TKO, so that's been two so far out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 fights. Yeah, is right.
You must remind you to protect yourself. Condom Depot.
Training mask.
Training mask.
All right, he's the minus 720 favorite. Volkanovski is. He has a record of 23-1 in the featherweight division. I laugh every time I see the advertisements for crypto.com.
And they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, from what I understand, cryptocurrency isn't real money.
It's not, but like it has a place. The thing is, if you're boxing or if you're UFC and you're trying to talk about like above board business, maybe don't have your primary sponsor be cryptocurrency.com. Want to move your money so no one knows where it is? Cryptocurrency.com.
I think what was it, the History of the World Part 1, where like the people like land on this other planet and they adopt the leaf as their primary currency, but it becomes way inflated.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Slap hands, and we are underway on our main event.
Yeah.
Volkanovski did not run across the ring and punch Zombie in the face.
I can't believe he did that to you.
Yeah, I'm already disappointed. Or maybe Zombie, he Zombie's trying, man. He's trying to measure Volkanovski. Oh, he got caught. But Volkanovski didn't follow up. All right, Zombie doing what Zombie does, is coming forward no matter what he gets hit with.
That's the right thing to do. Either for a win or for a stoppage. Either way, that's the right thing to do. Get in there, Zombie.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Big punches from Volkanovski, but Zombie living up to his name. Just walking through it.
Like, he's quite a handsome man still for the considerable number of punches he's taken right in the face.
Volkanovski doing a lot of swinging from the outside.
It's interesting.
Not a lot of impact so far.
No. A lot of feints, a lot of dancing, a couple of big ones, a lot of swings and misses. A lot of swings and misses. Both fighters less than 50% on their accuracy currently. I mean, except for the amount of time that this is taking, I do appreciate Volkanovski being cognitively weary of the Zombie.
Yeah, Volkanovski has not stopped moving.
Like, it's not like he just came in and straight up disrespected him. He was like, okay, like, all right, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to walk away the champion. He's had some big shots. He's had some big swings, but like you said, he stayed to the outside a good amount, and he hasn't overextended himself trying to get a takedown.
Dan, I think we lost you again. And we are just under now 2 minutes of round one. And here's the thing. Volkanovski has definitely scored some hits on the Korean Zombie. Korean Zombie, you can see it wearing in on his face.
Yeah, right side of his face is lit up.
Yeah.
But a pretty slow round thus far. Some big shots, but not a
mostly
huge number of connections.
Right. Mostly from Volkanovski at this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like Korean Zombie, it was fun to put him in the main event. It's fun to call him the Korean Zombie when his name is Chan Sung Jung. But now you have to get to the meat of the matter, the dinner and everything. And the Korean Zombie is just not able to. He's not able to get to that next level here. All right, Volkanovski takes Korean Zombie down. You're on mute. There you go.
We're talking about a different caliber of fighter at this point.
Mm-hmm. All right, Young's back to his feet.
Young
Volkanovski.
super. Like the zombie doesn't look like he's super stable.
No. Well, like Zombie took some significant punches so far in this round.
Yep.
And I think
Clean
he's just
shots.
trying to figure. Jay pointing out that Volk does this to everyone not named Max Holloway.
Amazing.
Up. We have a knockdown, but Korean Zombie is back up again. Kick to the leg. The Zombie is trying to stay in it, but he's just not got knocked hither and yon.
Getting bounced around. You might get your stoppage yet.
I might. He looked like it was happening towards the end there.
And first third of that round, Volkanovski was swinging and missing. Back half of that, everything he threw hit.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if the Korean Zombie, even with the rest in the corner for a minute, is prepared to take any more hits like that, and is, and the Volkanovski's being told like, "Hey, you had him towards the end there. Just go, you got to go at him hard now."
Yeah, do the same thing. He got a fat lip. He got a swollen eye.
Just wait for it.
Pick your shots and put them.
Yeah. Look at that replay. Volkanovski ducks under the swing, comes back with a counter of his own, and just nails Korean Zombie.
Yeah, that's some tough biz.
Right, slap of the hands, round 2. Come on, Volk, you've scored.
Big shots.
Like, what does he think is like? What happens? Just you got to throw some leather here. You had him on the ropes there in that first round, so to speak.
Well, I don't know why, but his corner told him he had to like bait him in and then catch him with catch. I think that's not necessary. Plan.
So Korean Zombie seems much more tentative in this fight than I've seen him in fights in the past.
Yes, that's fair. Maybe it's that like love. If you really want it, like you get nervous and then you have a chance to get it, versus if you think it's a throwaway, then you do a better job. I don't know.
Volkanovski and Zombie just had a bit of an exchange there, and despite the fact that he was in fact fighting back, Volkanovski, see, every time he keeps either overcommitting or stumbling, or you just can't get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, and as soon as he does, Volk is taking advantage.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that Herb hates to call a fight, but like, if he takes another full round of headshots like that, like he's
Korean Zombie's trying to put something together here, but he can't seem to find Volkanovski.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it looks like Volkanovski is seeing everything that's being thrown at him 10 times.
Volkanovski is just perpetual. There we go. Come on, get me my stoppage. He just folded up Korean Zombie like yesterday's laundry. But to his credit, man, he's still on his feet. But there's blood in the water.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him for his toughness, but like this is a bloodbath.
Yeah, Volkanovski just took Korean Zombie down. He's working from half guard. I think Korean Zombie might be toast here. We've got a full 2 minutes to ride.
Like, I don't love a ref stoppage, but like I wouldn't hate it if Herb stopped this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable to watch.
He's not defending himself at a level where he's clearly competing.
That's what I'm saying.
surviving.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's what I'm saying. Like, Volkanovski's just God bless him. He's trying to fight back. See, I don't even know if I would waste time trying to take him down again. Like, he's kind of doing a drunken boxing thing at this point.
It actually feels like the most respect that I've seen Volkanovski give another fighter. Everybody else, he just like beats them mercilessly.
All right, Volkanovski is wrestling Korean Zombie against the fence. And again, I say, like, maybe keep this on the feet a little bit longer.
Yeah. Feel like you could put it away.
Korean Zombie's taking a lot of clean hits to the head.
I mean,
most of which have stumbled him.
Yeah, he stumbled. He folded that one time. The takedowns are just knocking him over. Like this is like the pro sports guy that should have retired.
Mhm.
And I say that, but like we're not comparing apples to apples at this point. Volkanovski.
No, and again, the fun thing about the Korean Zombie is that no matter how much punishment he takes, he walks forward. But in this particular case, he isn't really walking forward. He's just taking clean shots.
Yeah, and he's not dishing anything back. He's just taking everything.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right, we're getting into round 3 now. I want to thank those of you who stuck around. I know this was not our best effort tonight. I didn't realize how tired I was. And it's one thing
and
to
it's
do.
gone on for 3 hours and 17 minutes.
It's one thing to do the boxing, which I think it's going to be a while before I try to do. I think that's the thing. Like, I did a whole bunch of long multi-hour streams over WrestleMania weekend, and now this one, it's like I just want to get back to doing this for an hour and being done. So yeah, this is as fun as this has been, and I'm glad we did it. Like, I got to take a break from these multi-hour ones. Dan, fix your mic. All right, round 3. Oh, big kick to the head.
Boom.
It's so funny to see like Zombie's reaction. Like, he really doesn't. He gets squaw right in the face, and he just nothing. And now he's swinging for Volkanovski.
Which, again, kudos to his sheer toughness, but come on.
Yeah. So 2 rounds to 0 for Volkanovski, obviously. Boy, Chan Sung Jung desperately wants to be punched in the face.
He definitely does.
see him
And not only
taunting.
that, his return, like his counters, are miles wide.
Volkanovski looking to bait Korean Zombie to come a little closer and don't be shy.
I don't think that he needs to. I think he can just go in and get him.
Well, in that last exchange, it looked like Korean Zombie didn't necessarily get hit, or if he did, it didn't impact his stance. But then, like, he overcommits on a punch and he stumbles all over himself.
Yeah. And all of his punches look like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd's cheering for the Zombie.
Of course.
I mean, God love him, but come on. Maybe that's what gets him back into him. Maybe he gets a good read from the crowd. Comes back to life. Blows it up.
You mad geniuses, you blew it up. just he'll throw one, he'll throw another, it'll hit. Like that's been the pattern with Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Like
take him down and finish it off.
Clean tags right to the face.
Like if you bought your ticket and you got to watch full round matches all night long, okay, I'm sure that you felt like you got your money's worth, but you got your money's worth an hour and a half ago. Like at this point, it doesn't even so much look like Volkanovski can't hit him, but like he's playing a game where he says, "Can I finish this entire match and not get hit once?"
So Jay's referencing the Homer Simpson game plan, which I believe was just stay in the ring and get hit until the other guy gets tired and then knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he'd hang around
for sure, at least for a little bit.
Face like a half deflated.
He's cut up real bad, like no joke.
Real bad.
Volkanovski has cut up his face, something fierce.
Well, between rounds in the last corner, he had 3 different cold steels on just to try to keep the swelling down. It's bad news, Bears. Bad news, Bears.
Korean Zombie he's throwing so hard he's falling off balance every time.
Yeah, because now he's just desperate. He's just trying to put something together.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing good comes from that kind of desperation.
So the one thing I don't like about Volkanovski right now is that he's clearly he's winning this fight. He's about to win his 3rd round. He's doing other stuff.
The honorable thing is just to put him away. The honorable thing is just to finish his fight.
Yeah. Agreed. And that's the thing. That's like, I would love to have the Korean Zombie on a podcast. Like, you should tell us what happened here.
Sure.
What were you thinking? Got significant strikes, 30, 36, 35, and down goes the Zombie, and I think we're done here.
I'll be done.
Come on, get in there, Herb.
Please.
Oh, cause there's 10 seconds left.
Herb's gonna let the round run out?
Just stop it. Why are you letting this go on? Well, not enough time to finish, and the Zombie does not know where he is.
He's on the moon, man. Yeah. Like, where's the corner doctor to say, hey, listen, you're done?
Yeah, I'm really surprised Herb Dean let that go on for as long as he did.
I mean, on the replay, they show, Zombie gets his feet up and he's moving his body out of the way, but, he's not doing anything. He's done.
Yeah, I definitely think they should get the ringside physician to check on him.
He just took, 3 more cuts on that ground and pound.
All right, as they work on Zombie's face here before the 4th round. Well, that's it, right? Go ahead.
I turned up the commentary just to see the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. Joe Rogan is saying, I don't know that he should go out for a 4th round.
Yeah, I was under the distinct impression that they were gonna decide that he's done here, but nope, they're gonna keep on going.
Yeah, I don't know. That's disappointing from his corner. I know no fighter likes to be stopped. I know every fighter thinks that they can go one more round, but the reason you have a corner is to protect you.
Yeah, and the corner the doctor actually just checked on him and said, "Hey, you're fine."
I mean, he got to have a half a dozen to a dozen cuts on his face right now.
Mm-hmm. So if you're Volkanovski, do you take any chances in this round?
I think you got to. If you're Volkanovski, he's coming back out. He was staggered multiple times last round. Just jump him and finish it off. You've been able to strike basically at will. You've been able to take him down and mount him 2 or 3 times at this point. You have 4 takedowns.
It is now 1:30 Eastern Standard Time.
That's correct.
Oh, did he win? They stopped it.
That's it?
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened, like why they stopped it.
Oh, he can't defend himself. He couldn't keep his hands up.
Okay. Well, then there it is. There's your winner. Alexander Volkanovski retains the featherweight title against the Korean.
He can't keep his hands up.
Yeah, okay.
Oof.
All right, Dan. Well, next week, Spence Ugas. The week after that, Tyson Fury. Dillian White the week after that. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. And then finally, Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol. And then I am taking most of May off.
Proper thing. You can sleep for the whole month of May.
That's the plan. I'm going to be like a bear. All right, that's Dan Lasby. I'm Mark Radulich. Over there is Jay, who hung out with us tonight. Tolerated my insanity. Until next time, be well, be safe, and behave.